It's time to get up and get your day started.
Get up! Get up!
It's Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning!
Morning. Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Oh, yeah, it's Friday. It is here. It is time for the weekend and the last weekend without college football for the next, 5 months. We are excited. We're fired up. We had the high school football season begin last night in the metropolitan Memphis area, not in Mississippi or in Arkansas, but in Tennessee. I don't believe in the other two states, but at least football in Tennessee is underway at the high school level, and the NFL continues with preseason games in week number 2 of their preseason. We welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings. It's the Friday, August 21st, 2026 edition of the program. Your usual cast of characters, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you. We're broadcasting live from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. They got their Dog Days of Summer sale going on right now with all types of really cool deals, including patio furniture, up to 50% off. Now, you receive a dog bandana and a tennis ball with a purchase. And then you can send them a picture of your pet with your newly purchased Family Leisure product and receive a $50 gift card from Family Leisure. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 77 degrees if you're up with us, ready to get out of the house. Whatever the case may be, heading to work, getting ready for the kids and the drop-off at school. 96, though, is your high today. Some clouds this morning will give way to generally sunny skies for the afternoon. Hour 1 of the program is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery at 305 South Front Street in downtown Memphis. They produce Tennessee whiskey, bourbon whiskey, Honeybell citrus vodka, and Formula 10 gin. They do it at that beautiful distillery, and they have the distillery bar that's attached right to it. So you can stop by at any time to enjoy yourself an award-winning cocktail, maybe a local beer, after a game, before a game, after an event, maybe a nightcap after dinner downtown. It is Old Dominick Distillery. Find out more about them online at olddominick.com. Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits. Stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Coming up on the program today, John Varlas joins us at 7:25. We actually have some games to talk about with the high school football season kicking off last night. There'll be a ton of games today. Joe DeLeon at 8:25 on college football. Week 0 is next Saturday, 1 week from tomorrow. We'll start to talk about some games with Joe DeLeon. We'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation at approximately 9:05. And then Ed Graney will join us at 9:30 to break down UNLV and Memphis from the Rebels' perspective. He's the columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. That's all coming up on the program today. Of course, we'll take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. We got more college football news. We have NBA news to get to as well. Also, the FedEx Cup playoffs roll along into St. Louis. We'll give you an update on what happened in round 1 at the BMW Championships. Other than that, nothing's going on. No, it's a busy, busy time in the world of sports, and we're delighted that you're with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
You open up your new season as the voice of Christian Brothers with an absolute rout last night. Congratulations to the brothers as they destroyed Fayette Ware.
Yeah, it was a good night for the brothers. Very impressive season debut for the outstanding sophomore quarterback Nate Brick, who had 4 touchdown passes and was really, really good. He's a different beast the way he throws the ball. And the fact that he's only a sophomore is a little bit crazy. He has an extremely bright future ahead of him, and they rolled to an easy win to get things started.
Do you think maybe you already think he is, but do you think he's developing into the best Christian Brothers quarterback we've seen this century? We haven't seen a lot of great quarterbacks. We've seen troopers out there, gamers, guys that sometimes played better with their legs than their arm. But this guy looks like he's the real deal. You think he's the best?
It's not even close.
Not even close. Okay.
As far as throwing the football,
I need to see this guy.
Throwing the football, there's been nobody comparable to him.
Wow.
That I have seen at Christian Brothers.
Well, that's a great sign.
I mean,
That's a great sign for the brothers.
The first touchdown he threw last night was a 75-yarder that, just a go route and just literally you couldn't run out there and place it any better.
How long in the air? How far in the air?
It was, I don't know, probably 40 yards. I don't even know for sure. But just dropped it. Receiver never
Right
had
in the bucket.
Never had to break stride. Just flying down the sideline, stick your arms out, ball will be there. He's he's probably, they list him at 6'4". I think he's probably, they say he's probably about 6'3.5", something like that. I mean, it's just,
Great size. Wow.
It is. He's a special talent. It's a special arm talent. Like it just, the ball just hums out of his arm or out of his hand. It's fun to watch. I'm excited to watch him play for these 3 years. Like he's going to break. I was like, he might break the career passing yardage record. I don't even know what it is. He might break the career passing yardage at Christian Brothers this year. Like he may do that. He will shatter every passing record that ever has been thought of having at Christian Brothers High School.
Those Brick Boys have done all right for themselves, haven't they?
They're pretty good. Pretty talented crew over there.
Very nice. Jay Ham, how are you this morning? You happy it's Friday?
Pretty good. I got to actually watch a little high school football last night myself. I checked out Brentwood Academy and Baylor.
Yes, I'm going to get to that in a second.
That game, I mean, the talent.
What did you think?
In that game?
The talent in that game.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
I mean, half of Tennessee's future,
right.
Both quarterbacks are going to Ole Miss.
Right.
It's just, and I mean, that David Gabriel George is, I mean, some of the highlights of him.
He's awesome, man.
Man, it is, I mean, Baylor, it's not even fair what they're doing. Brentwood's awesome, and Baylor just goes, 38-20. It's just dumb. It's not fair what Baylor doing. They're not breaking any rules, but it's not fair what they're able to do by being a boarding school.
Well,
Like the Dodgers in a way.
How different is it than what is going on now in collegiate sports? You got those with the most money.
Haves versus have-nots.
Right. Those with the most money can get the best players and often do. And now you have, obviously, high schools that recruit, boarding schools, which obviously the ultimate recruiters. We shouldn't be shocked by it.
Well, no, but it's not. I mean, they have the ability to do something that the other ones don't. Like they can't. Like the others cannot go get. They don't have,
because of the rules.
They don't live. They don't have places for guys to live on campus. They're not boarding schools. So Christian Brothers can't go recruit guys from around the world and say, "Hey, come live here on our campus and play football for us."
Sure.
Totally
What did you think?
It's
different
just
infrastructure in that way.
Right. It isn't about they got more money. It's they literally have an ability to do something, them and McCauley, that the other schools do not have.
What are your thoughts of Marshall Manning?
Move like his dad. I saw him doing like a rollout to his right. Like he looked like 18 for real, and he was wearing 16. So but he's not.
So
as
he didn't
tall.
move that well, then, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, he's not as tall, but he just rolled down, made a nice pass.
Peyton wasn't exactly the most mobile quarterback, but yeah, I saw the one highlight of him rolling out to his right, waiting patiently, putting it in a spot for the receiver to come back. He's 15 years old. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
Why did he come into the game? Did the other guy get hurt? Why was he?
They just ran him in.
They just okay. I didn't know if the other kid had gotten hurt briefly or.
Yeah, give him a little playing time. But so you got Peyton's young son, who's again just a freshman at Baylor. Then we had the game between Luke Bryan's son versus the son, one of the many sons of Phillip Rivers, playing high school ball in Bama. Luke Bryan in Tennessee. So all these famous people with their sons all playing seemingly quarterback. And they were in action last night for the opening night of high school football around the city, or around the state. And as I said, it's just getting started because we have a plethora of games tonight. There's also one game on Saturday, which I'll be out at that will be East Nashville playing at Collierville. Looking forward to being a part of their pregame and doing some picks for the guys as the Dragons will play Saturday night. The lone game, I think, in the area. as far as high school football is concerned. But we'll talk much more about this coming up with John.
Do you know, did they, the two quarterbacks, do you know, what are they both like 4-star guys? Do you know what did they?
I could check on it. I think they are 4. At least 4.
It's weird to me that both are going to Ole Miss. Like the idea that you have two of those guys both come like, I wonder if they both end up at Ole Miss because that's just not the way. Now.
Right.
You're like, okay, well that guy's going. I'm not. Like, why do I go?
Why would I go? Right.
Because they're going to also be getting guys. You're like, okay, when I get there, they're going to be getting guys out of the transfer portal as well who are coming into play. Like, what are my chances of actually playing once I get there?
I assume they got nice packages already. They were just like, you know what? Let's just roll to Oxford.
I mean, what a show for Ole Miss. Like, because I mean, you're like, oh,
well, it's only a commitment.
This game's on national television. That's our two quarterbacks. We have both quarterbacks in this game.
Coming off of a season where you were in the semifinals of the playoffs. I mean, it's a good role for Ole Miss.
But it's only a verbal commitment at this point.
Yeah.
So I would doubt that you get two of those guys going to the same institution. And personally, I don't believe that would happen.
But even to get to that stage of the verbal commit, that's still even kind of wild, you know?
Right. All right, so last night in the NFL, we had 2 preseason games. We'll have a bunch of those tonight and Saturday, and I think there's a game Sunday. There is. The Titans playing on Sunday. But last night, again, there's not a lot you could take out of the preseason. The 49ers in the late game destroyed the Chargers 41-17. Brock Purdy played just a few snaps. Justin Herbert played 3 snaps, to be exact, for the Chargers. For the 49ers, Adrian Martinez, touchdown pass, touchdown run, 2 interceptions. So, again, not much out of that. And then the Raiders game against the Texans, which the Raiders won 22-20. They did not play Kirk Cousins whatsoever. Fernando Mendoza did start through a bad pick 6. Absolutely horrific. He'll learn from that. He was 8 of 15 for 86 yards and a touchdown. Afterwards, Clint Kubiak announcing that the quarterback battle continues. There is no quarterback battle. I'm sorry. I don't care what coach says. There is no way Mendoza's starting the season as the start. And I know over the last 5-10 years, that's sort of changed now where quarterbacks picked as high as, and you can't get higher than where Fernando Mendoza was picked, usually are thrown right into the fire. But with Tom Brady, a part of ownership and management of that Raiders team, I guarantee you he has a very loud voice, and there's no way he wants some kid to be thrown out into the fire. It is going to be Kirk Cousins. I would guarantee you that. And I think a telling reason was he didn't play even a snap last night. So Mendoza's got a way to go. Future's bright, but last night, not great.
Yeah, I didn't see any. I saw the last drive. I saw the thrilling last drive where the Raiders just marched right down the field to get the game-winning touchdown.
Who was it? O'Connell? Who was in there?
Yeah, and but I would guess that Mendoza is starting by week 5.
That's very probable.
I would start in week 1. They can do whatever they want to do.
Nah.
I'm guessing he will start by week 5.
No, I think, again, I would bet money on it that Kirk Cousins starts week 1. But I think week 5, week 6, the Raiders are not going to be that good. I mean, that's just the deal. They'll be improved, I think, but they got a ways to go. Genty's going to be extremely important for them to get that offense moving. And if he's running the ball well and that offensive line's doing a good job, which includes the former Tiger Dylan Parham. He's still there, right?
I believe so.
I believe he is, unless he lost his starting job. But I think, Mendoza at some time this year will be the starter because he is the future. All right. College football news from yesterday. Oklahoma coach Brent Venables agreed to a new 6-year deal, revised deal with Oklahoma. It adds 2 years to his previous deal, which will run now through the end of 2032. It will average $10.5 million per year. Now, it was interesting on social media. Blake Topmeyer, who joins us every other Tuesday, basically said in a nutshell, what are you doing? Why do you have to revise the contract, add years right now? Last year, yeah, they had a really good year last year, got to the playoffs. But this year, let's see, as a team expected to possibly be a playoff team, let's see where they go before you commit more years. He's already under contract for a number of years. And then Connor O'Gara, who joins us on the other Tuesdays that Blake is not on, I think he countered that maybe it's the possibility that Oklahoma is looking at Clemson and that Dabo could retire, and then Clemson would want to bring Venables back, and so they want to sew him up for a lot more years. Meaning they really like the guy, they're happy with what he can do, and they want to make sure that he's there for a long time. Although there's never any guarantees. I don't know where the truth lies, but to me, I hate it. I hate when they give more years to these coaches when they don't have to. Right before the season starts. They don't have to do it. What's Venables holding? Is he a hold-in? Is he not going to coach games? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. It makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, he had one good year. He basically really now did his job for 1 year.
Right.
I don't. And certainly at this time, he's not going anywhere. So you could have, even if he wants one, no, coach this year and we'll talk about it after the year. Let's see how this year goes.
Exactly.
But what if there's things colleges like, one of them is paying coaches way too much money not to coach their program. So, they love to get locked into long-term deals where when they fire them, they have to pay out way too much money. So
Yeah.
why not? Why not do it?
Unfortunately, it's par for the course. It happens way too much. Yesterday was a really weird day, or maybe it was the day before, and we talked about it yesterday, but with the latest as far as court rulings and players in NFL camps now entering the transfer portal to come back to college, it's so outlandish. But yesterday, I think it was the topper. Well, Greg Sankey yesterday said allowing athletes who have signed professional contracts back into college sports fuels disruption and should not be allowed. Sankey asked a judge in Baton Rouge to uphold the NCAA rules, part of an affidavit in response to a lawsuit filed by, in this case, R.J. Lewis, the former Big East Player of the Year, who was, under a two-way deal, but never played an NBA game?
I think he got a two-way deal.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because that's the whole thing. That's the argument, that anybody who signs a professional contract, and I assume Sankey means international players, players from here in our country. But what's interesting is that is the commissioner of the SEC arguing against, in this case, a team in the SEC, LSU. Because R.J. Lewis was going to be going to LSU and may still go to LSU, depending on the law and the courts. But very interesting, because if you're the AD, you're like, dude, what are you doing here?
Well, he did it in the Bediako case against Alabama, too. Like, he's made it quite clear he doesn't want these guys in college sports.
Right, and that's fine and dandy. It's what do all those ADs and presidents of those universities that he works for, what do they think? Because if the other conferences are going to allow it through the courts again with injunctions and things of that nature, then what happens if you fall behind the eight ball now? Yeah, it might be the morally correct thing to do, but how about if now other conferences, we already know in football the last 3 years, but this is more of a basketball thing. They start to, and hell, Michigan's the defending champions. They start to dominate you as well. You lose an edge. And the SEC never wants to lose an edge. I respect what he's saying, and I think he's probably right. But the way we're going right now, until we see what happens with the Protect College Sports Act and what's in that particular act, if it's passed, which is still suspect, it's going to continue to be this free-for-all, and these judges are going to continue to rule in favor of the players and rule favorably in their jurisdiction.
He's not stopping. He's not making it a conference rule. You can't take these guys. He's
I know.
Saying that I don't want these guys in there. He's argued against it, and he's made it quite clear. That's his stance. He doesn't believe these guys should be in college.
What I'm saying is,
it's not what other conferences are doing. The conference is still the same thing. The rules are the rules, but he doesn't want these guys. He doesn't want the judges to rule in favor of these guys.
I know, but what I'm saying is, a commissioner works for the presidents of the universities. And the president of the universities, in consultation with their ADs, decide what's best for their athletic programs. And you don't want a commissioner to go rogue out there, even though what he's saying is probably the correct thing to do. And then he's out on his own preaching from the top of the mountain.
The NCAA is the presidents of the universities. They're in court battling these things.
Oh, they're the NCAA. Come on. I mean, right now they are powerless.
Exactly. The presidents of universities don't want these either. The NCAA doesn't want these.
No.
Nobody wants them, but the courts keep ruling in favor of them.
Yeah, I understand. But again, you're right now. You're LSU and you're Will Wade. You're trying to put together a team. You don't even have enough players, and one of those players happens to be R.J. Lewis. And then you got the commissioner of your league saying, yeah, please, judge, vote against this. That's all I'm saying. It seems weird. I think he's saying the right things, and I think they want to do the right things, but they need, obviously, help. And that's would come in the form of the Protect College Sports Act, which, by the way, this morning, Ross Dellinger talked about when they get back in session and they continue to look at this and maybe bring it to a vote, that there still could be more tweaks to it, including the movement that has become really the topic that I think is most important to a lot of people, certainly the group of six, but in particular the ACC, about that type of movement from whether or not they need to be an independent for 5 years or the amount of teams that they can expand to. So it's all about expansion, and that could be something that is absolutely tweaked. And one last thing before we take the break, and John will join us on the other side, John Varlas. Congratulations to the king, Jerry Lawler. Yesterday had a street named after him, a street near Treadwell High School where he attended. It was Homer Street. That has been changed, that section of that street, to Jerry the King Lawler Street. Congratulations. A lot of dignitaries that were on hand. A lot of the wrestling guys, right, Jay Ham? Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart.
Jimmy Hart was there. Superstar Bill Dundee was there. King Cobra was there. They also have a show tonight down at Tupelo that they're going to be working as well. So
to honor him?
Well, he'll be honored down there as well, but they're doing a big show. It's a benefit for St. Jude that they're doing down at Tupelo tonight.
Well, that's fantastic. And that is great with Jerry that he said it. He's been hammered by bad health for a long time, and is not moving as fast as he used to, but he came out and he basically said, listen, a lot of times people are honored when they're dead. And I'm alive to be able to get this honor, so I'm very happy about it.
He said he still wants one more match.
Well, I don't know. He may literally die in the ring if that happens, but congratulations to Jerry the King Lawler. Once again, hour number one brought to you by Old Dominic and OldDominic.com. Go to the website, sign up for a guided tour, a free guided tour. They're offering them now through September 7th. Locals and visitors alike can book a free tour of Old Dominic's downtown Memphis distillery, where you can learn how award-winning spirits are made from grain to glass. It's really cool to take that tour. Again, you can get more information at OldDominic.com. There are some restrictions, so make sure you check that out. John Varlas joins us next to talk some prep football. It is underway. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5
FM. Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of Cashew Crunch, of Heavenly Hash, of Turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Napa Cafe celebrates 28 years in 2026.
Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I want to thank you for making us part of your dining experiences. If you are a first-time guest or have dined with us countless times, I want to thank you for making us part of your lives. Whether you're celebrating with the crowd or planning a cozy date night on the town, Napa Cafe can provide you an extraordinary evening. We have 5 dining rooms, including our private wine cellar, our Jan's room for 2 guests, and the Eleanor room for parties up to 60. Sit back, relax, and celebrate. Leave the cooking to us. Come see me at Napa Cafe, 5101 Sanderlin Avenue. We're open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. We also offer curbside pickup from our full menu. For details on our stay-in, dine-out menu or reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. We can't wait to serve you.
Come join in and celebrate 28 years of Napa Cafe in 2026.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, save up to $700, plus get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Do you know what Penny Hardaway and I have in common? We should both be in that building celebrating the best basketball players of all time. Of course, I'll have to buy a ticket to get in, but he should already be there. But seriously, we both surround ourselves with the best people we can find. We work hard to achieve our goals, and we are both among the best in our respective fields. At Fiveash, we can't win titles or get national awards, but what we can and do strive to do is give 100% of ourselves to give you the best product possible and one you can be proud of. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call at 901-367-0050, and we will do everything we can to provide you the best of everything. Fiveash Roofing. Fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Sports 56 traffic.
Coming up through South Haven on 55 northbound as you work your way all the way up to Brooks and Elvis Presley. It's crowded over here around the airport right now. A little bit of extra travel time just to be on the safe side. Be careful with these school buses out here in these school bus pickup zones. Please slow it down in those school zones. Hey, shop local this weekend and save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. Stop by and see David. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 7:28 the time. Hour number 1 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Happy Friday to you, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you. We're getting you set for the weekend. Right now, we're getting you set for all things prep football. There were some games last night, but a ton of them tonight. It is time to talk some high school football with John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas of the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at dailymemphian.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where the pros and preps go to get their shot on. Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award-winning prep reporter from the Daily Memphian, but he's so much more. He is John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. He joins us each and every Friday. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis with 2 locations, the original in Collierville. 901-316-5500 is the number to call. They're located at 85 Market Street. In Cordova on Big Orange Road at 901-779-3176. Call, set up a tour, get yourself a free evaluation, and then join on a monthly basis. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. And John Varlas is here. Good morning.
Hey, good day, everyone. How's it going?
Going well. You doing okay? Yeah. First night out there at the high school football stadiums around the area for the next foreseeable future?
Yes, indeed. Thankfully, it was relatively stress-free with no issues. Nothing like weather delays or heat delays or anything like that. That's the only thing that's gonna, frustrate me to no end. But and we made it through without that. So yeah, great start to the high school football season.
Well, you seem like you're in a good mood. You just were positive there, but I will ask you if you have a bone to pick.
I kind of do, and it's a bone that will spotlight a former Memphian at the same time. Social media is going nuts over this Baylor Brentwood Academy game last night, and rightly so. I mean, I'm on record as saying that David Gabriel George is going to be Tennessee's first Heisman Trophy winner, and his talent and his.
That's a bold statement. That is a really bold statement. Predict a high school kid winning a Heisman Trophy.
I think it's true. I think it's true. I think he's that talented. I think he has the potential to do just that. I mean, you guys see it. His physicality, his talent. He's a fully grown man right now. However, in saying that, I will throw a spotlight on a former Memphian who had a tremendous game last night and got lots of good press in the Chattanooga papers. Corey Faulkner, the linebacker, former Houston High standout. He was a freshman on that Houston State Championship team, and he's since transferred to Chattanooga Baylor, and he was outstanding last night. He intercepted a pass, just a great game on defense. I'm not sure where Corey's going to college, but I think, in the midst of Marshall Manning and David Gabriel George and the Ole Miss quarterbacks and Kenny Simon, it was really cool to see a former Memphian like Corey Faulkner stepping up and playing as well as anyone last night, really.
The Gabriel George, like, just his highlight reel from last night it is pretty insane. I mean, the one run where he got his helmet ripped off and he just keeps going and going. He did the handstand on one run. Like, it is a bit, we've talked about the level of talent on Baylor is just silly. And Brentwood, at least they're doing it more the old fashioned way. No boarding school, but like their talent. I mean, the talent that was on display in that game is just crazy.
Brentwood is indeed doing it the old fashioned way, Eli. But
they're just recruiting the normal way.
But, I thought you meant money in a paper bag. I thought that's the old fashioned way.
But yeah, I think that's the thing that gets people with David Gabriel George's, because you could pop Dylan Mitchell's highlight tape in there, or Eric Gray's highlight tape.
Right,
It's just as spectacular. The results are just as impressive. David has that physical aspect of it, where he's just a fully grown man, just running angry and so powerfully and so aggressively. I think that's what draws people. But yeah, he's a special talent, and I've said it and I'll stand on it. I think he wins a Heisman Trophy at Tennessee. I think he's that good.
I was having a conversation. We had got into a conversation last night about Dylan Mitchell, and I was like, what he did at the high school level was insane. I never understood why he wasn't better at the college level. I mean, that dude was like, you couldn't even touch him in high school. Like, he was that elusive. Like, it was insane what he did.
I think that's just the difference between high school and college. I mean, and he had a good college career at Oregon. Not necessarily an All-American career or anything like that. He had a good college career, and he, was a fringe. I mean, he played professionally in Canada. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's still playing or not, but so he had a great career. It's just Eli. You just never know who's going to make it and who's not, and why is always hard to predict. But yeah, I mean, he was supremely talented, and his highlight tape was special too. Giving the ball at the 2-yard line, watching him go 98 yards. I mean, it's pretty incredible.
When I watched that dude, I was like, at the very least, that dude's going to be an unbelievable return guy in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, punt returns, he would catch the ball, and he just made everybody look like he was silly. Like, he became invisible. They couldn't figure out how to touch him, let alone tackle him.
And to your point about Eric Gray, he's in the NFL.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Do you know if, you would know this, does Baylor come to Memphis to play any of our teams?
I would have to look at the schedule. I don't know off.
So I'd love to see his kid run the ball.
No, they're not coming. No, I can say they're not coming to Memphis.
Okay.
Because the way the regions are structured, our teams in that class, MUS, Briarcrest, and Christian Brothers, they're matched up with Innsworth and Brentwood Academy.
Okay.
So,
the Chattanooga schools never get put this direction.
Okay. Before we get into some of the games from last night and preview some of the games that'll be coming up tonight, there was the Thomas Hefner ruling.
Yeah, really.
Your thoughts and what it means for Lausanne moving forward this season.
Well, I mean, it's for Lausanne on the football field, it's problematic because they were counting on him to come in and replace a 3-year starting quarterback, and obviously what Thomas did on the field last year at Melrose as a Mr. Football finalist. His talent on the field is undeniable. It's really frustrating. I think what's frustrating the guys over there at Lausanne, what frustrates me a little bit, what frustrates others is, the inconsistency with some of these rulings. I mean, because if you watch that game last night between Baylor and Brentwood Academy, you saw guys out there who are also on their third different high schools and guys, who, for example, one transferred from a boarding school in one state to a boarding school in Tennessee. So, it's kind of difficult for me to look at how you might claim a hardship when you're moving from a boarding school in one state to a boarding school in another state. I thought with Thomas, he had legitimate academic reasons for his transfer. And Greg, too, what made it really interesting is as part of the appeal process, the folks at Melrose actually submitted documentation to the TSSAA on Thomas's behalf saying, yeah, this guy is a legit student. He wants to study engineering in college. He's got all the academic credentials, and we can't fulfill him academically at Melrose the way he should be fulfilled and the way Lausanne can do it. So, academics is supposedly one of the hardship reasons where you might be granted, a waiver on a transfer like that. Academics, social, mental, if you're being bullying, if your family situation changes, those are all legitimate reasons. So I thought from an academic standpoint, he had a really sound case, but, ultimately it was denied, and yeah, it stinks for him, and because he's a great kid, but on the football field it really stinks because they were going to depend heavily on him this year.
Now, is he a junior?
He's a junior.
So will he be able to play if he stays there? He'll be able to play next year.
Yeah, he could theoretically play for Lausanne this year if they were to make it to the semifinal. Eli, once that calendar year ends. And it would end right around the time of the state semifinal. So theoretically, if Lausanne were to get to a semifinal, he could play.
But why would you, if you have a quarterback replacing him that leads the team into the state semifinals, you're not going to pull him out and all of a sudden start this kid, right?
Well, I mean, that
guy's obviously doing a good job if that's the case.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's just a tough situation all around. But
right.
But yeah, so he could theoretically play this year.
Okay.
But
could he go back to Melrose and play?
I'm unclear on that. I don't know that that's necessarily something that's even something that the family would want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wonder what my rule, like if, I'm not allowed, could I go back to where I was and be eligible? I don't know.
I don't, that's a good question. I mean, he certainly couldn't transfer to any place in Tennessee. I suppose, he could pick up and move to a different state if they wanted to. And I'm not sure what they're going to do. It's still, it's only happened a few days ago, and it's still fresh and raw. And so we'll see about that. But yeah, it was a really, really tough decision, just from a standpoint of this is a good kid trying to do things the right way, and also obviously from a football standpoint, which you can't ignore.
Right.
By the way, on Baylor, just talk about so last night, while it was a Division II AAA game, it wasn't a region game. That was just a crossover game. Other than that, is the only game against a Tennessee opponent they play other than their region games.
Yeah.
Everything else is they play Virginia, Georgia, Kentucky, and Texas schools.
Jeez.
In their other non-region games.
All right, games closer to home that took place here in our area last night included a game you were at, John. Briarcrest and ECS, and this game was not even close. The Saints, as you pointed out on Twitter, pretty loaded team. They win 44-7. Just how good are they?
Well, the John Varlas theory on winning a state championship, Greg Gaston, is you need to have at least 20 to 25 bona fide dudes, in my opinion. They don't.
What constitutes a dude?
Well, I'm getting to that.
I'm kidding you.
I'm the dude.
I'm getting to that.
He doesn't watch movies, so I guess
they don't necessarily have to be big time college players. Right. They don't even have to be college players at all. But you got to have 20 to 25 legit, really darn good high school football players in order to win a state championship. And now, obviously, with Briarcrest, they got some giants standing in their path, but they've got the dudes. They really do have a very, very good team, especially those guys up front. I mean, you go the tackles, Justin Amazugan and Tanner Mills. Those guys are 6'4", 300 plus. One of the guards, Xavier Miller, is 6'2" and 340. The other guard, Artie Anderson, is 300 plus pounds. So they're going to be able to control the line of scrimmage with those guys.
Yeah.
Caden Dixon is really good junior quarterback, really polished, made some good throws. He went through his progressions well, made some smart decisions, even got out there and made some plays with his feet a few times. He's really good. The young receiver group they have out there is terrific. JT Donaldson is a Swiss Army knife type of kid who's just a tough, hard-nosed kid. He's going to play college football somewhere. He's very good. I mean, they just have, up and down the roster, they just have guys that can play, and they were very, very impressive last night against an ECS team that, certainly was at a size disadvantage and maybe an experience disadvantage as well. I think ECS will be fine once they get into their own, region and their own peers, but it's just a tough matchup for them last night. Where
do you have the Saints in your Dandy Dozen?
They were preseason number 4, so I think, very highly of them. And, they got Fairleigh next week, which, they should take care of business with Fairleigh. And then, they travel to Nashville, Innsworth, and that's going to be a real, show me game, and we'll really see what they have then.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk more about the games from last night. Eli and I got into it a little bit to start the show about Christian Brothers. We'll get your thoughts on that and some other finals from last night, including a very impressive win for a team that's expected to be very, very good, and that's Munford. If you have any questions for John, you can text in at 901-360-8255. If there's a game tonight on the schedule you want him to preview, he can do that as well. More with John Varlas. He's with us each and every Friday, and again, he's brought to you by the great folks at Shoot 360 Memphis with 2 locations, one in Collierville, one in Cordova. The future of basketball training is here at Shoot 360 Memphis. You're tuned in to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Available locally on your radio dial as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, it's easy to stay tuned to Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, everybody. I'm out here in Olive Branch trying to pick out my favorite new Silverado for a test drive. And I've got one question. How low can your payment go? Come to All-Star Chevy and see what 0% financing for 5 years on all these new Silverados will do. And no payments until after Thanksgiving because your good credit deserves it. Military and first responders get an extra $500 bonus. And All-Star Chevy has the pre-owned makes and models for any budget. Go big with a Tahoe. Pre-owned Silverados? Yes, always. They got them right here in Olive Branch. Whatever you're looking for, ask Jeff and he'll find what you want fast. For all your commercial and fleet needs, All-Star Chevy is the top-rated business elite dealer. Express Cargo and Express Passenger Vans, they are right here in Olive Branch. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive. Don't miss the last best sale of the summer event going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Rick's Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Rick's Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
On September 2nd, DraftKings Game Day arrives with massive deals, exclusive offers, and an all-day celebration built for sports fans. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in all 50 states. One app, every sport, all 50 states. DraftKings Game Day is yours. Remember the date, September 2nd. DraftKings Game Day is the kickoff of a new season, a new era, and the biggest day in sports history. New DraftKings customers, sign up with code HERD and get ready for DraftKings Game Day. That's code HERD in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. Bet with DK Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Bet tax pass-through may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Void in Canada. Event contract trading with DraftKings predictions involves risk of loss. Availability varies. Predictions offer void in New York. Terms at dkng.co/audio. Nationwide based on sportsbook predictions and free-to-play sports contest availability. Varies by state.
Hi, I'm Ryan Saharovich, a proud partner with NST Injury Attorneys. For over 35 years, we've been fighting for Memphis families after serious accidents when insurance companies are trying to pay as little as possible. We don't back down. NST is the way to go.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery in downtown Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
That's me in the corner.
Not a lot of close games last night. Munford destroyed Memphis Business 58-0, but no surprise. You like Munford a lot.
I do like Munford a lot. They're like the old Oklahoma Sooners. They got, 7, 8, 9 guys that can get out there and run the ball and get positive yards for them. And, that offense, that single wing is just so hard to prepare for and stop. And, there's going to be many, many tougher challenges for them than the one they had last night, Greg. But, they did what you do against a lesser opponent. You go out there and take care of business and don't sweat too much.
How about Mitchell? Are they on the rise? They beat Hamilton 48-0. Are the Tigers capable?
Mitchell's always, you say on the rise. They're just always very solid. Mitchell's always going to be good for at least 6, 7, 8 wins.
Okay. I thought they took a drop.
They're pretty consistently solid, and they've got a good quarterback over there, a kid named Raul Jones, who's about 6'5". Good athlete. Good size, and he'll win some games for him, single-handedly if he has to. He's very talented.
The Christian brothers got off to a good start. Nate Brick, we've talked a lot about him. Where do right now with Hefner not playing? Who is you got the kid at Collierville, right?
Braden Santibonez is
would he be the best quarterback? Because they're the best quarterback in the area.
He's really good, and it's interesting. It's interesting, Eli. I was talking about this with somebody just a couple of days ago. It's interesting. Braden's really good. Nate Brick is, he's probably got the most potential of anybody. And like you say, when it comes to just pure throwing, I mean, you got Brooks Wright over at Central. He's very good as well. And I'm sure I'm blanking on something. Caden Dixon at Briarcrest we saw last night is really good. There's some good quarterbacks out there, and particularly too, I think we're going to see the emergence of some younger quarterbacks as the season goes on. So the quarterback class in Memphis is, not saying these are all P4 guys by any means, but we got some good quarterbacks here in town, and I think as the season unfolds, we're going to see some new names start to emerge as well when these guys get more playing time and more notoriety.
Well, it's good to hear because there always seems to be a void with quarterbacks. We've had good we've had good quarterbacks, but not a lot of good quarterbacks. And now hearing about some of these guys, it excites me. I want to see some of these quarterbacks, and I want to see them, hopefully a few of them at least, get to the next level. A couple of other finals from last night, in case you missed it. Overton beat Ridgeway 21-7. Kirby over Sheffield 43-0. Hillcrest in a close game beat Manassas 26-20. There were a few other games. But tonight, there are a lot of games on tap, including Bartlett and MUS.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. Bartlett was a little down last year, first year under Coach Ben Bowden, but in terms of this is going to be a theme with me this year. They've got some dudes. Pierce Washington at receivers, got SEC offers. Elijah Turner up front on the O-line, he's got some SEC offers. They've got some really talented individual pieces, and now the task is going to put that together in a whole. And Eli, talking quarterbacks, Rod Lucas from Arlington transferred into Bartlett this year. Rod Lucas is a very good young quarterback. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think if Bartlett goes out and, puts on a good show tonight at MUS, I think that's going to do a lot for their confidence. And, they might be onto something if they come out here and play well tonight.
We talk about Lausanne obviously losing Thomas Hefner. They got to play against Southwind, who, not for ineligibility, we knew he was leaving. They got to start the non-Kelvin Perkins era at Southwind.
And again, you look at Kelvin Perkins highlight tape. I mean, if you want to see something nuts, watch that. But yeah, so a new era at Southwind. Coach Griffin told me, as opposed to last year when they were, 60-40 pass with Kelvin, this year it's going to be more 60-40 run, because they have Kamani Williams at running back committed to Auburn, and, in an offensive line that's got 5 seniors, basically they've started together for the last 3 years. So very experienced and talented offensive line, and you got an Auburn running back. So the recipe for success is, fairly obvious there at Southwind. And, obviously Lausanne coming off the news, this week. We'll see how they react. I'm sure the coaching staff is, going to put together a good game plan, and they're going to get through the season. And I still, very high on Lausanne too, but we'll see how that goes. That should be a good test tonight. Games at Germantown, because they still hadn't got the turf hit over there at Southwind, and hopefully they'll get that done soon. But I kind of cramping their style, the Jaguars.
And I guess we shouldn't assume it, but because the more college makes its way into high school, Kelvin Perkins is not suing for a 5th year of eligibility, right?
not to my knowledge, but
that game at Germantown, but Germantown's in action at Houston, so a rivalry game right off the bat, and the Gene Robinson era over.
Yep, first game for Deron Sutton over there at Germantown, and I think, like I said in my Dandy Dozen preview, I hope the Germantown fan base is patient with him, because I think eventually he's going to get it done and have a lot of success this year, a lot of success there this year. Inevitably, there's going to be some growing pains and some change and some rebuilding. And so tough opponent. Houston's coming out there, 3 wins last year. They're much improved, though. Cannon Day's back. Cannon Day, another excellent quarterback. Rodarius Robertson at running back. It's going to be a really, really good test for both teams, and kind of a show me game to see where they stack up. I'm going to be really curious to see how that one shakes out.
Wow, they won 3 games. That's it last year?
They did. They, that state championship team in 2023, Greg, and then they went to the semifinal, or then they went to the championship game again and finished runner-up in 2024. They just
all graduated.
They lost so much talent off those 2 teams, Greg. Last year they had, sophomores and maybe even freshmen starting starting all over the field. And Coach Thomas will tell you the schedule they had last year just wasn't conducive to that level of an experience. Now, obviously, it's the same schedule this year, but they're coming back a year older, a year wiser, and hopefully a year better. So we'll see.
Do you know anything about East Nashville?
I do. They are a 2A program, Eli. Last year they were very disappointing. They were in the state championship game in 2024. Last year they only finished 6-6, but they're a very solid program. One of their players is committed to Mississippi State, running back. Their quarterback's committed to Western Kentucky. So They've got a couple of players, and it's a good test for Collierville. It's a small school, but it's a very talented one. So, you expect if you're a Collierville fan to take care of business. Collierville should certainly have a size and a depth and a talent advantage. And, hopefully they'll be able to use those to their advantage. But I think it'll be a good representative test.
And that game will be Saturday. Back to tonight's games. Looks like, at least on paper, could be a good matchup. Melrose at Central.
That should be a really good matchup. You Cedric Wilson back at his alma mater, and obviously they're going to be in a little bit of a rebuild mode after having lost some guys through transfer. I'm really high on Central. They came in at number 9 in my preseason Dandy Dozen, and they just senior loaded over there with experienced, talented ball players. Brooks Wright at quarterback. Joshua Lane committed to Memphis on the D-line. Landon James, they did very well with some transfers coming in who I think are going to impact them heavily. I'm high on Central. I think, you look at their schedule closely and the way it breaks down, I think they've got a chance to, to really, really have a good record by the time they get to that final game of the regular season against Munford.
I've got some interest in Lakeland, and they got Covington tonight. That's a tough one.
Yeah, clash of styles there, Eli. Lakeland's gonna throw it around with Brett Godwin starting for his 4th year at quarterback, and Connor Jones moving into that number 1 receiver spot now that Andon Quinn has graduated, and yeah, Covington's gonna come in with that single wing and keep it on the ground with Cullen Winfrey and those guys, and they're going to do what they do. The players change, but the philosophy never changes at Covington. They're going to keep it simple and run the ball at you and see if you can come up and tackle.
Tall task in the return of Stan Collins at Whitehaven. We know Gene Robinson is kind of the man waiting in the wings, but Coach Collins, who was coaching Whitehaven when I got to Memphis, is back. And Whitehaven's got to start off the year against Ensworth on the road.
It's a tough trip. First game for Coach Collins on the sideline since 1996 in an official head coaching capacity. He's got some talented guys to work with. Obviously, Jordan Shelton transferring from Germantown to play quarterback, and Shelby Clark at linebacker. Malik Dean, who's committed to Memphis. He's kind of an athlete type. Whitehaven's always going to have a ton of good size up front on the lines. So, I expect Whitehaven to be very good, but, Nashville's Ensworth's a super talented team, and making that trip to Nashville to start the season is never easy, but we'll see.
What about Martin Westview and Mace don't play at St. Benedict?
Well, Martin Westview with Graham Simpson and that crew over there. Asa Barnes is committed to Tennessee, where he's going to probably watch David Gabriel George take all the snaps
and then he'll transfer.
Is Simpson a junior or senior now?
Simpson's a junior. They've got a receiver, Miles Brown, who's committed to Kentucky as well. I mean, that's just a super talented team over there at Westview, and it's interesting that game they played last year at Martin against Mace. It was only 8-0 at halftime. It ended up 34-0, but it was 8-0 at halftime. Mace actually got the ball within the 15-yard line 5 different times without scoring.
Wow!
So hopefully, they'll correct those mistakes. I think Mace is a lot better this year than they were last year. So many injuries last year for Mace, particularly on the offense, that limited what they can do. But Cadence Nelson is back 100% healthy. Leandrew Branch 100% healthy. And they've got a tremendous offensive line as well that should be able to move the pile, move the line of scrimmage, and do some things. I think it'll take a special effort for Mace to win, because I think Westview's on a different level from maybe most teams. But it'll be a good test.
Great job, John. The names change every year. John's the same. He knows all these guys right off the top of his head. He knows the games. He knows the teams. But they got to play the games. And, of course, John will have you covered as best he can, but he needs your help. So make sure you're following John on Twitter at John Varlas, and let him know when you got a final score. And John will get it out to everybody that's following him on social media. And, of course, he'll write about all things Preps over at the Daily Memphian. Make sure to catch John every single Friday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it a lot. And Go football.
Yeah, go football. Have fun. Pigskin. Thanks again to Shoot 360 Memphis, the sponsor of John Barlas each and every Friday. Hour 2 on the way. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Okay, listen up, Mid-South car buyers. Landers Ford in Collierville is offloading 2026 models from across the Mid-South now through Labor Day only. It's the Mid-South Labor Day offload. Labor Day savings on new Ford F-150s, up to $8,500 off MSRP. Plus, low 2.9 APR financing for 84 months. That's right, 2.9 APR for 84 months. Complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan included. You don't want to miss this. Now through Labor Day. First come, first served. Plus, with top dollar for your trade, you could lower your payments. Get started now at LandersFordMemphis.com or give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2025 Total New Vehicle Retail Sales Report, Memphis Market. Stock number 26T0112. MSRP $67,795. Ford rebates $3,500. Lander savings $5,000. Sale price $59,295. Complimentary 2-year premium maintenance plan available on select Ford vehicles. Coverage begins at new vehicle limited warranty start date of 2 years or up to 25,000 miles, whichever occurs first. Price plus tax, title, license. Offers include $695 processing fee. Offer ends 8/31/26.
It is quite literally the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Now, why is that? Glad you asked. Because Family Leisure wants to see your dog pictures or whatever pet you have pictures of. Here's the details. With any Family Leisure purchase, you're going to get a dog bandana and a tennis ball. You take a picture of your pooch or any other pet with your newly purchased Family Leisure product, you get a $50 gift card. Come on, how many pictures do you already have of your pets on your phone? Family Leisure is giving you an excuse and a gift card to take one more. Now, what other dog days deals are there at Family Leisure? How about a swimming pool as low as $19.99? How about patio furniture that's up to 50% off? Get this, if you purchase any hot tub in stock, Family Leisure will give you a free theater seating set. Now you know why they're called the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family fun and your pets all come together.
Progressive presents Perfectly Bad Excuses for Missing Stuff to Spend More Time on Your Motorcycle.
Hey, Suze, can't make it to your party. Gotta defrost some chicken. There's tenders, boneless thighs. Gotta keep an eye on it.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams sale and get 30% off Duration, Superdeck, and Woodscapes products August 14th through the 24th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. It's busy now, right on schedule. That volume of traffic has picked up quite a bit westbound I-40 here at Chambers Chapel, Canada Road. All that traffic flowing in right now from Fayette County here into Shelby County down I-40. It's busy stop and go at times there. Southbound Austin Peay trying to get on that ramp onto I-40. Hey, bridal season is here. Shop local at Weimer's Jewelry. You'll be glad you did because you'll save some money at Weimer's Jewelry out there on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Isn't it a lovely morning?
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Well, the busted out of class.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:04 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Friday, August 21st, 2026 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Jay Ham with you, broadcasting live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. At Family Leisure, they got their Dog Days of Summer sale going on right now. They're located at 2120 Whitten Road, which is just north of Interstate 40. Right now, 80 degrees, feels like 86. We're talking about a high of 96 today and plenty of sunshine. 96 for your Saturday, 93 your high for Sunday, and then we'll start off the new work week with a high temperature that may actually dip below 90 degrees. That would be nice. Happy birthday to the Dipper. Wilt Chamberlain would have turned 90 years old today if he were still alive. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar, right between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, closed on Sunday. Of course, you know by now. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for 60 years. And every Monday and Friday, they bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know, this news came down yesterday, I'm not sure why, but Ernie Kuiper, our good friend, who was the general manager of the Murray State Racers, and they had a great year last year, coaching under Ryan Miller. Ernie Kuiper, also the former head of the AAU teams that Mike Miller sponsored in Memphis, first M33M and then Hoop City. But he has stepped down from his position, according to reports yesterday, as the GM at Murray State. Want to wish Ernie well. I'm not sure if he's heading back to Memphis or what's next in his career. But again, good guy, and I'm sure he'll do well wherever he lands. But Ernie Kuiper steps down at Murray State. Again, James Gaddis Jewelers, for all your jewelry needs. You're looking for a special gift for that special someone, from watches to necklaces, bracelets, the earrings, any types of gemstones and all types of antique and vintage jewelry. They're always adding to their collection. Check out James Gaddis Jewelers this weekend, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com.
So did you see the story with Kai Spears, the former Alabama basketball player?
No.
The jury awarded him $9.25 million in a defamation case against the New York Times because they incorrectly reported that he was at the scene of the murder, going back to the whole Brandon Miller.
Oh,
shooting.
yes.
They had initially reported that he was a passenger in the car, and that was not true. He sued them. He got $9.25 million.
Oh, my gosh.
I will go out and I will tell you right now, any news establishment out there right now, if you want to report that I was at the scene of a murder, you could do so. If I could get $9.25 million out of it,
sign me up.
$9.25 million for them saying they corrected it later, but again, he won $9.25 million because they said he was there. They didn't say he did it. They said he was there.
He was present,
and according to him, it's ruined his life or something. I don't know.
Okay, so obviously
worth $9 million.
The New York Times is taking information from somebody who supposedly was an eyewitness or somebody they believed in, somebody maybe in the media or in the police force. They gave them that information because it's not like the New York Times just happened to have a reporter down there when this occurred.
They probably fell into one of those bad information social media traps.
Exactly. You better check and double check.
Well, I think
different sources.
I think there was a source that said he was.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But
have the source pay the $9.5 million.
Honestly, if it's worth $9.25 million, I'll tell hey, I wasn't there. Tell them I was. See if they'll print it. now that I know it's worth $9 million,
I'll even split it with you if we pull this off.
Dude, hey, see if you could become a source for them. Say I was there. I'll sue on the back end. We're good. I mean,
it may set a trend.
That blows my mind. $9 million. Again, not for saying he did it.
Right.
Just for saying he was there incorrectly.
What judge
the New York Times
ruled on this?
Said, I think it was the first, I think the New York Times said something like that. This is the first time they've lost one of these lawsuits in over 50 years. They don't lose these suits. They never lose these things.
But they participate in a lot of them. Where was the judge from?
I'm sure it was in Tuscaloosa. I don't know.
There you go.
I guess that's where it happened, so I would assume that's where the court case
You
was.
got some Yankee writer at the New York Times going to come down and tell us that this guy was... Give him $9.5 million. Got to get the right judge, too. But, yeah, sign me up.
It wouldn't be a judge. It would be a jury.
Well, the jury. That's even worse.
Oh, yeah, and I found out that those quarterbacks, one is 4-star, the other one's 3.
Yeah, 3-star guys that go.
Cruz Jenkins is
the 3-star. Unless maybe he's like an athlete that maybe doesn't. Maybe he's not I don't know. I have
he's
no
just
idea.
Playing quarterback now, and they probably
maybe he's a guy that they project to be a different position at the college level. But if he's truly a quarterback, he wants to play quarterback, he ain't going to Ole Miss. Not with another 4-star guy going there. And again, Ole Miss is going to be in the transfer portal yearly, bringing people in. So there's no way that 3-star guy is ever playing quarterback at Ole Miss.
That's why, especially now with everything that's going on with name, image, likeness, with rev share and all that, why commit so early? I know some kids don't want to be bothered with the whole recruiting thing. They don't want it to affect them on the field, bother them in just life in general. But I would just hold off and wait. I would wait to see what the offers are, see what's legit, and then get closer to signing day where you can make it official. By the way, we were talking about Marshall Manning, 15-year-old son of Peyton, for playing for Baylor as a backup quarterback. 2 snaps. That's all he had was 2 snaps.
Yeah, he just came in that thing. That's why I was wondering why I thought the other guy may have gotten hurt or something or maybe his helmet came off on a play. Yeah. The other dude is the quarterback.
Yeah, they just wanted to run him in, get him a rep on TV, I guess.
But it was a really nice play. He rolled out to his right, had the receiver that stop and go, and then he actually had to come back, and he threw it right there, put it right there for him to make the catch. It's a nice little play there by young Marshall Manning. All right, NBA news. It was only a matter of time, but James Harden deal is now finalized. 3-year, $97 million extension with the Cavaliers. They were just waiting to see what was going to be happening with, I assume, Peyton Watson. And once that trade went down, now they were able to figure out what they could give James Harden. It was only a matter of time, but James Harden is back with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and now Mitchell and Harden talking about making that run to an NBA final, which we know in the Eastern Conference now is a lot tougher than it was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, as there's so many teams now that are going to be incredibly competitive. But Cleveland certainly should be somewhat competitive. They have a very good roster, but James Harden is back with the Cleveland Cavaliers.
It was always going to be the case. They had to work the timeline correctly.
There are still free agents out there. The big names, most of them have signed on with teams. There are still some restricted free agents, like in the case of Jalen Duren, as Detroit still has not figured that thing out. I don't see that one going the way of Peyton Watson. I don't see that one being a sign and trade. I think they'll figure it out. But here we are now, August 21st, and they still haven't figured it out. And there's still the Jonathan Kuminga situation. There's a few other guys. Campaign from Memphis, friend of the show. I know he had a workout with the Sacramento Kings. So maybe he'll sign and get another year in the NBA, but he's looking for a home. Bradley Beal's now back with the Clippers, correct? DeRozan, though, is he a free agent?
Mm-hmm.
DeMar DeRozan? So there's a name that's still out there if you think he has anything left in the tank.
Yeah, he's still out there. It'll be year 18, I think, for him.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then a few other names that they threw around yesterday. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But, again, most of the impactful names have signed on with teams or have been involved in sign and trades. The FedEx Cup playoffs rolling into St. Louis, the BMW Championship underway. And what a difference a week makes. Last week in Memphis, Rory McIlroy was horrible. He starts out this tournament shooting a 6-under 64 and is in a 5-way tie for the lead after one round in St. Louis. And he's tied with Gary Woodland. Remember Woodland got off to the good start Thursday in Memphis? He was 5 under and then he faded. Wyndham Clark. There's a J.J. Spawn sighting. He shot 64. And Chris Gotterup shot 64. In the meantime, the Memphis winner, Scottie Scheffler, struggled 2 over 72. But I would almost bet that today he'll turn it around and shoot 65. You know, it was all that partying by Scheffler.
You know he's a big partier. He's out there raising hell. And the hangover lasted a little bit longer than he had hoped and struggled in that first round. No, it's amazing how you can go from a great tournament, struggle the next week, the next round, but I would think that Scotty will get it back. But I guess it's good for the folks in St. Louis who are there at the tournament to see Rory McIlroy play well after, again, he basically mailed it in Memphis. But at least he was here.
Yeah, it's a course that suits Rory a lot better. It's a long par 70 with soft fairways, and his driving distance plays very, very well in St. Louis, unlike here in Memphis. Scotty couldn't hit a fairway to save his life. But as I said, like, he's wrapped up all of the different bonuses that you can get, and he already knows, and he knows he's going to be in the Tour Championship easily, obviously. He's wrapped up number one and everything else. Like, there is nothing on the line for him this week. Every little bonus that you can get, he's already wrapped up, and he knows he's obviously in the Tour Championship. So it's like, you could see there might not be a whole lot of motivation for Scotty. Obviously, if he tees it up, he wants to win, but it's not the end of the world for him. That's for sure.
Did you read the comments or hear the clip from Matt Fitzpatrick? Basically going off on the structure that we have for the FedEx Cup playoffs and what we've had. They've never been able to figure it out. Now we know it's going away after next year. So I guess there's no use crying about it now. But he said, how can a player compile all these points, do what they do in the regular season, be number one, and then turn around and go into this 3-event playoff and then not be crowned champion? And like I said, I think, even though nothing has been announced, that when things change on tour in 28, they'll go to a regular season champion, and then they'll probably seed them in that order, whoever. I don't know how many would be involved in the playoff, but we're talking about match play events at different venues and larger cities and all that. That's all still to be announced. But I would think that you will crown the regular season champion, because I've never understood that. Although, if you look at, and Fitzpatrick talked about it, he said, especially in America, they have sports where they have these playoffs. But he said, where I come from, you have that season-long deal, and then at the end of the season, it's the champion. The guy who's leading is the champion, not it going into this 3-team deal. And of course, we've had before where we've had the staggered starts, which was a problem. This time it's you win the Tour championship and you're the FedEx Cup champion. Well, again, in our system in this country, you have playoffs. You could be undefeated during the regular season, go out there, play like crap, and lose in the first round and get knocked out of any sport. So I can understand where people want this to happen. Where, yeah, you could have a great regular season, you turn around and you lose in the playoffs, then you should be eliminated. But that's the thing, too, as you just pointed out. It's not penal. It's not penal for Scotty to be horrible this week, or Rory last week, or Rory to skip Memphis last year. So it was never penal enough if you looked at it from an American sport playoff theory. In other words, you play poorly, you're done, and it's over for you. Here, you still survive and you move on. But I also don't like to go to the extreme that if you win the Tour Championship, then you're the winner. How about if Scotty wins this week in St. Louis? And he wins the first 2 playoff events, and then he doesn't win in Atlanta, and he's not the champion. They've never been able to figure it out.
I mean, if you want to argue, you can argue both sides, and it's literally impossible to come up with a playoff that makes sense. They're two different things. You got a regular season, you got a postseason. Like and again, for some guys, like for a guy like Matt Fitzpatrick, that may not make sense. Like, they don't understand. Like, that's the way it is. Like, there is a regular season and there is a postseason. They are two different things.
But they don't crown a regular season champion.
There's a bonus. They get a bonus. If you win the regular season, you get a bonus. They get a bonus for everything.
Well,
there's bonuses all over the place.
Money. But I'm talking about where people realize that dude's the player of the year. That dude's the champion. He is crowned the champion, or she is crowned the champion on the LPGA Tour after they've played 6 months of golf. not 3 weeks of golf. But we'll see. We'll see how the changes happen.
If name the sport in America, the team that finishes the regular season with the best record is not crowned a champion. We go to a postseason to determine it.
But they've always been different. That's my point.
And it doesn't matter. It's what if you lose, you are done, and you are not the champion.
Right.
It doesn't that's the way in American sports we generally crown our champions based off of a playoff.
And that's what Fitzpatrick was saying. That's what he had a problem with. That's not the way it is where he comes from, and that's the way it should never be that way. Where you just kind of negate 6 months of what happened during the regular season and put all your eggs into the 1 3-week basket. You're right. In team sports, it's different, and we love it the way we have it. But with golf, I could see it makes it a lot easier. You're crowned the champion of whatever they want to call it. Whoever's going to be the sponsor, they're the champions. And then you have this other event. Because, again, even though the numbers were good for Memphis, and they were, we haven't really hit football. Next weekend, we start to get the games. And you certainly don't want to go up against it. And I don't know what the U.S. Open does as far as the tennis numbers are concerned, going up against football. I think it's right at the first week may not be with football involved, the NFL, but it's certainly with college football involved. And I would think that those numbers are good but not great and probably could be better at a better time, but that's not going to change. They're not going to change the schedule of the U.S. Open for tennis. But with golf, you want to make sure that it is done before football starts, and they've been able to finish before football starts.
That's why they made the changes.
Right.
They moved it to make sure that was the case. There's anything about that. The guys tied for the lead after yesterday, the 5-way tie. And I don't know if it's a Belle Reeve thing and it sets up that way. But 4 of them are U.S. Open champions.
Yeah, I saw that.
Gotterup is the only one that hasn't won a U.S. Open, which is just it's weird. I was like, I guess Belle Reeve, your translation, Belle Reeve, if you're playing at Belle Reeve, it plays well to U.S. Open guys.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch the golf yesterday. I think I watched maybe a hole or two, but really didn't pay attention to them describing the course. Our friend Steve Sands, how penal the rough is. I don't know about Belle Reeve, what basically it's known for or known as, but I know those scores were pretty low.
It's a long par 70 with massive greens, water everywhere. But I mean, the greens are huge greens. It's crazy.
Water everywhere, but not as many water balls as we have at TPC Southland because they're not strategically placed, even though there's water everywhere.
Yeah, I don't know how much it comes into play. I don't know how many water balls they will have. I mean, they're obviously not a regular tour stop, so we don't know how many water balls.
That's a good point.
They get. I don't know, like when the PGA, I think it was the PGA was held there in 2018 or whatever. I don't know how many water balls, but there's a lot of water. The rough is deep, but the fairways were soft. They've had rain. The fairways were soft, but the thing, like the greens are absolutely massive.
I mentioned earlier, if Wilt was alive, today would be his 90th birthday. We'd be celebrating his 90th birthday. Somebody listed like all his accomplishments. It goes on forever. And I'm not, and no joke here. I'm not going down that avenue.
No, because he legitimately has the most records in NBA history.
And
as
also,
a player now, as a player.
Also as a
player too.
Yeah, yes. I'm not going down that avenue. But this
but don't hate the player, hit the game.
This is one that blows me away. For his entire career, Wilt Chamberlain averaged 46 minutes per game played. 48 minutes in a game, ladies and gentlemen. 46 minutes he averaged. And you figured he had to be a little bit tired from the night before because some extracurriculars were taken.
He had some next-level conditioning, man.
My God.
I'm pretty sure I think he had years where he averaged over 48 minutes a game.
Oh, yeah.
Because he never came out of games.
So the year that he averaged 50, I think he averaged like 48.5 or something like that.
Unbelievable. Folks, if you are planning to be in Olive Branch to try to pick out your favorite new Silverado for a test drive at Olive Branch, at All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, I got a question for you. How low can your payment go? Well, if you come to All-Star Chevy, you can see what 0% financing for 5 years on all these new Silverados will do. I think that'll do a lot. 5 years, 0% financing. No payments until after Thanksgiving because your good credit deserves it. Military, first responders, you get an extra $500 bonus.
All-Star Chevy has pre-owned makes and models for any budget. You can go big with a Tahoe. How about a pre-owned Silverado? They have a ton of them. Whatever you're looking for, ask Jeff. He'll find it for you, and he'll find it for you fast. For all your commercial and fleet needs, All-Star Chevy is the top-rated business elite dealer. Express Cargo and Express Passenger Vans are here. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch. Get the most money for it today. So together, let's drive. Don't miss the last best sale of summer event. It's going on now in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet and online at allstarautogroup.com. We're talking college pigskin with Joe DeLeon when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Did you miss your favorite Sports 56 show? No! Check out the podcast, broken down hourly at sports56whbq.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to like and subscribe. Never miss any Sports 56 show again with our podcasts available daily from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Looking for the perfect ride? We Gossett at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. 2026 Mitsubishi Outlander ES, 5 for $30,905 or $399 per month. Equipped with standard 7-seating capacity versus only 5 with Nissan Rogue and Honda CR-V. Plus, longer, better warranty and more towing capacity than Nissan Rogue and Honda CR-V. Need a budget-friendly compact SUV with better, longer warranty than Mazda CX-30? We Gossett. 2026 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross ES, 5 for $28,455 or $389 a month. 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, $6,000 off MSRP. 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $5,000 off MSRP. It's time to ride in America's best back vehicles with 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1956 Covington Pike, and 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
Outlander TZO 1741, MSRP 33,405. Eclipse TZO 35,349, MSRP 30,455. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license. Offer valid through the end of the month. Approved dealer stock only.
For those that watch the stock market, the real estate market also has its watchers, like me, Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. Right now I'm seeing the listing inventory increasing and the contracts and closings not keeping up, which puts us in what is labeled as a buyer's market. That is why it is extremely critical that you obtain the best advice and expertise when you're considering the sale of your home. And that is what I do. To make your home a sweet spot, where buyers are drawn to you like bees to honey, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers, but make sure I am one of them. Find out about my highly successful strategic marketing program that can help you sell your home quicker at a better price. Remember what people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon. Call me at 483-0546 or email me at memphisrelocate.com. That's right, relocate is in my name. MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit more volume in the last 15, 20 minutes out here. We pretty much would expect up through Midtown on 240 North here at Lamar. Be careful over here with road work throughout the day. You never know what you're going to get on I-40 over here around Warford, Hollywood, as traffic increases westbound over there right now, trying to get to the 101 connector. Bridal season is here, so shop local at Weimer's Jewelry. Why? Because you will save money. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of its dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We welcome you back to the show, 8:28 the time, halfway home on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings, getting you set for the sports weekend here on this Friday, August 21st, 2026. College football begins 1 week from tomorrow, and I am very pleased that we're able to actually start to talk about games. Let's get the breakdown of some of them with our good buddy Joe DeLeon.
Time now to talk about the college football weekend and look ahead with Joe DeLeon, co-host of the Ruffino and Joe Show, covering college football and the NFL Draft at A to Z Sports. Here's Joe DeLeon with Greg and Eli.
He is Joe DeLeon. He is our football expert for college, the NFL Draft, the NFL. As Mr. Announcer Man said, check out the Ruffino and Joe Show on 247 Sports and A to Z Sports NFL. Follow Joe on Twitter at Joe DeLeon. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning, Joe.
How you guys doing?
Good. We're finally talking about some games. It's about time. And even though there's no games tomorrow, I'm jumping ahead, Joe. I'm jumping ahead and talking about next Saturday because, and I'm sure we'll have some of the BS that we have to talk about because the last 2 days has been even crazier than other days. But I want to talk about on the field because next Saturday, and we'll get to Memphis and UNLV in just a second. But North Carolina plays TCU, and that, I believe, is maybe the first game or one of the early games. Am I mistaken, or did TCU just lose a quarterback? And I know that they've had some issues over the years with quarterbacks, but did they lose a quarterback, or am I mistaken about that?
So they did. They lost Josh Hoover. And Hoover is transferring to Indiana.
No, I know that. But did they lose? Yeah. Is it Jacob Fields? Who was the projected quarterback that got kicked off the team?
That was a defensive back. That's a whole...
Oh, that's not a quarterback. Okay.
No, it's not a quarterback. There's a whole complicated mess that's happening with that there. And I'm not like totally ingrained with what's going on with that circumstance. But the thing with this TCU team that intrigues me at quarterback is the guy that they brought in. And it's kind of one of these weird circumstances where Hoover, it's exciting for Indiana because he can really fit the system and his turnover issues, I think, can be corrected and worked on by Shanahan, who is the offensive coordinator there, who's done a great job of keeping quarterbacks super efficient. But you had all those turnover problems under Dykes when Hoover was there, and they're now bringing a guy who's a lot more cerebral and careful. And I think that's going to work really well for Dykes in Jaden Craig, who transferred over from Harvard. Now, Craig has a lot of hype coming from the Ivy League. He has been super efficient and consistent, and the NFL has recognized him as a possible potential backup, long-term backup in the NFL. He does have some upside with his poise, his decision-making, his intelligence, all those things to maybe become some sort of a starter. But Jaden Craig is a big name to watch for this game and to see how potentially explosive this TCU offense could be in Dublin.
So you got Lombardo, he's out. Doesn't look like he's coming back anytime soon. Obviously, he's the general manager. He's not the coach. Bill Belichick enters year number 2. I know they named the starter, the former Maryland quarterback, Edwards. What do you think about this game? Does North Carolina have a chance to knock them off and start out on the right foot with all the stuff that's going on in Chapel Hill?
No, I think that TCU's squad and the bodies that they've got on the lines of scrimmage, I think, are going to be a little too much for UNC to be able to win this game. But the line on this is big. The line on this is moving, and the last I checked, I think it was over a touchdown in favor of TCU. And one of the picks that I'm kind of looking at this is I wonder, and I do believe that UNC can keep this game a little bit tighter. My big expectation here is that Bobby Petrino bursts onto the scene for UNC and puts up a couple of really big outputs the first couple games. Petrino's always produced explosive offenses. That's never happened. There's never really been an issue where they haven't. Even last year with all the woes that they had, they still have one of the most productive offenses in the country. Now, Billy Edwards is not Jalen Green, but part of me believes that going up against Andy Avalos, the TCU defensive coordinator, that there's not exactly such a ridiculous defensive prowess from this TCU squad that they'll be able to hang in it. And I also think that Belichick, knowing how he operates, that he's the type of coach that doesn't want to get embarrassed twice and recognizes that they did a lot of things wrong last season, and they're a little bit more effectively prepared with how they adjusted the roster.
Okay.
With TCU, in the Big 12, is there anybody that can challenge Texas Tech and BYU at the top?
Well, I do think that TCU potentially could. They were kind of hinging on, how things go with Craig here at quarterback. I do think Houston is an interesting team to pay attention to because they bring in a lot of experience. They bring back a lot of guys from last year. They bring in a ton of guys from across the country that I think are going to be really great for Willie Fritz. And then the other one that's a big, fun wild card that I love to talk about is Oklahoma State. There's a real opportunity here that this kind of blows up and it doesn't really go well in the first year because it's a lot of dudes from North Texas coming over. There's a lot of transfers coming in. But at the same time, we have a coach who was really successful that brought in his core of players, kind of like Curt Cignetti did a couple of years ago. And Caleb Hawkins is one of the most underrated running backs in the country. He had a ridiculous amount of touchdowns a season ago. And Drew Mestemaker has an NFL frame, an NFL arm.
Yeah.
I think that Oklahoma State team can maybe shock some people.
Is there any truth to the rumor that they may be changing their nickname from Cowboys to Armadillos?
I was just talking about this on another show that I was recording. I love the whole armadillo bit that he's out there shooting armadillos, and he almost seems fake, but I'm totally buying it. He fits the Oklahoma State vibe, it seems.
He does, exactly. ACC, NC State and Virginia, week 0. NC State is the dog. Looking at the line right now, I see 5.5 at the book I'm looking at. What about that matchup?
Yeah, I think that UVA has more experience in this game as well. They're one of the most experienced teams in the country in terms of just snaps coming back. We're deep in the portal, so I think that that's a hurdle that they kind of have to navigate early on this year. I think that NC State's going to keep this thing tight. And I know that the line there doesn't give a lot of wiggle room, but I think that because of the fact that they're returning their top running back and TJ Bailey is also, well, probably with some others left, but they're returning one of their top running backs from a year ago. But TJ Bailey is super, super explosive, and a lot of people are kind of talking about him maybe taking a big leap this year. His athleticism and his tools are strong enough for him to go out and play really, really well against like the middle of the pack solid teams in the ACC, and he's done that pretty consistently. Did that last year. I think that there's a real opportunity here that we see Bailey make a couple of nice plays to keep them within this thing, but I ultimately believe that UVA ends up pulling out because Tony Elliott turned this Cavaliers team into somewhat of a machine.
Do you understand why Oklahoma would give Brent Venables a new contract now?
Yeah, I think that just naturally and it's kind of silly, but this is what we've turned into with these contracts where if you just do something, you get an extension, you get more money, and then that leads to the ballooning buyout, which is equally as ridiculous. But to have come off a 10-win season to reach the college football playoff is an accomplishment. I believe he's making more in terms of average salary than Dan Lanning, which is kind of crazy to me, but he's only the 11th highest paid coach. It's not like he's crazy up there with some of these national title contending coaches. I think he's warranted it, and you want to have that security. The timing of the last one was in the summer as well. I think it maybe has something to do with probably how their budgets and stuff work for the University of Oklahoma. But I think that Venables has earned that reason to get a little bit more of a cushion for the long term because of how successful things were last year with such a difficult schedule. For them to have finished 10-2 and reached the playoff was fantastic. And I think they're going to be a really good team this year that maybe could shock some people in the SEC.
Joe DeLeon joining us on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Speaking of coaches, what's going on with Lincoln Riley? He has a team that could compete certainly in the Big Ten and better compete. The thing is at USC, while they certainly have high expectations, in California, in Southern California, what are they, fourth on the on the totem pole there? Not as big a deal when you have the Dodgers and the Lakers and other teams like that. But for USC and for their athletic department, they certainly want to see them get back to the golden years. They're a 38.5-point favorite over San Jose State.
in week 0. Don't see much of a problem there. But if they don't get to the playoff, how warm is that seat getting, Joe?
I think it absolutely gets hot. And I think that this is one of the most interesting stories for me going into this season is like, if they reach the playoffs, it's a huge accomplishment, and they're certainly primed to do it. They've got a tough schedule, but they certainly have the roster to accomplish it and to get to the CFP. But inversely, he's been there so long. He has gotten close and fallen short. I think at a certain point with how much money he's making and how long he's been there, it does get to a spot of like, what is USC trying to be? Are they trying to be a national title contender? Do they believe that they can do better with a different coach? Or are they maybe content with the fact that they're just surviving in the mix of the college football playoff in the modern era? It really comes down to like, what are the program expectations? If Lincoln is just going to occasionally make the playoff and he needs a couple more years to officially get there, then probably he'll get the opportunity to return. And if he does get the chance to return, I think it'll be really telling on how this USC administration views the football program compared to how it used to look at it.
It's funny because you talk about Ben Venables. He's only the 11th highest paid coach, which again, to me, I don't know that he's done enough to even come close to deserving that. But you go to USC and what they're like, based off what you're paying coaches, money being spent on your roster, how many programs out there you think right now, like the expectation is we should make the playoff?
Yeah, I think that like naturally the expectation should be for a lot of these teams should be trying to make the playoffs, especially with the expansion of the playoffs. And then if we even get this thing even bigger and further to the point where there's 20 or 24 teams or at least 16 teams in there, that playoff expectation, I think, simplifies the line for like what success is. Before it was a little bit more, I think, complex because it's like, right, how much do you weigh bowl wins and whatnot. But I think that in this modern version, like, it gets to the playoff or not get to the playoff. If you can't get to the playoff and you're at one of these big brands, it is a significant underperformance, I think, naturally for everybody, because the entryway is the easiest it's ever been, and it could potentially get even easier.
So for even teams that are notoriously at the bottom of their respective power conferences, sure, their goal was to get to the playoff, but what's reality? Are they getting to a bowl game, winning a bowl game? Isn't that still important for those teams that never probably will make the playoff?
I think that it is, and I think that this is kind of part of the reason why, like, there's this this desire to expand the playoff, because it increases the opportunity for some of these lesser likely teams to get in the mix. But I do think that there's going to be shifting. There's going to be a wider gap of expectations for the top programs, the middle pack programs, and the bottom tier programs than we've ever had. Because before, it was a pretty clear line: make a bowl, don't make a bowl, or be in the national championship conversation. Now, with the amount of money that is going towards these rosters and the NIL outside of the salary cap, all those things, with all that stuff on the table, I think that it's going to be pretty clear that a lot of programs, athletic departments understand, we're not touching what X team is paying their players, so we just want to go out there and be competitive and have something interesting for family weekend. There are going to be a lot of teams, though, with their investments that are going to be pretty upset they're not touching that playoff mix.
Yeah, I mean, now there's concrete information. Well, they have $25 million for their budget, and we have 15. Like, there's something there substantial that you could tell your fan base, hey, you want us to be competitive? Well, then fork it up, because look what they're paying their players.
Like, I would guess that this year in the SEC, based off what they're spending and everything else, I think there's probably at least 6 teams who believe we should be in the playoffs.
No question.
And there's no way 6 SEC teams are going to the playoffs. There's 6 teams at least that say we absolutely should be in the playoffs this year.
Well, and I think that kind of feeds into what I'm talking about here, where it's like both those things, where now that there's an open opportunity, and then now it's more public on like how much money is being spent, and if you're not even like touching that rev share ceiling, you kind of already know that you should be checked out. Like you should not have any expectation to make it into the mix. But if you're on the side of you should make the playoffs, there's increased pressure because so much money is going towards it, even more money than previously, and it's putting strain on your athletic department budgets. And then the other side, it's a clear visibility of like, hey, I can't. It's kind of like if you're comparing somebody who's got a job in finance and somebody who, maybe works in human resources. I'm just kind of being like random here.
Right.
The guy in finance should have that expectation that he should be succeeding and should be, accomplishing great things. And if he doesn't end up making the company a ton of money, then this, the opportunity to maybe move on. But if you're just doing a simple job that doesn't have as higher stakes for some of these smaller programs, as long as you're getting it done and there's confidence in the performance, there's a lot less pressure for the possibility to be let go or fired or whatnot.
Exactly. Look, the expectations are going to be higher for the coach at LSU than it is for the coach at Boston College. It's just the way it is. All right. Last thing for you, and we'll talk more about this next Friday, but Memphis and UNLV, week 0. Memphis is 6.5-point underdog. What do you think? And we're going to have the columnist from the newspaper in Vegas on at 9:30 today to talk about him. But Joe, what do you think about Jackson Arnold, former Oklahoma Auburn quarterback, who I assume will be the starter for UNLV?
So this is one of the picks this game that I gave out I did early week 0 picks on the Sports Geek, and I like Memphis. I'm kind of shocked by the line being this big. I was looking at it, I'm like, what? I get it that you got a new coach coming in, but Coach Huff's a great coach, and he brought in a pretty good roster. And there's a lot of money and resources going to this roster. They probably have one of the best G6 rosters. And while it's going to be challenging with all these transfers for them to be a playoff team and to win the American, at the very least, they're going to be able to go toe-to-toe with a team like UNLV. I also, to your question about Arnold, my whole part of my logic with this was I will gladly fade Jackson Arnold. I know that this is a quarterback-friendly offense and that Mullins got the most out of it last year, but man, I don't like the idea of betting on Jackson Arnold, and he was one of the easiest guys to fade last year because he just doesn't click with him, and the mistakes and almost the timidness in the way that he plays is just frustrating. It kind of has this feel that it's come full head that he's not really built to be a highly successful quarterback, and just because he's coming from Auburn, I don't think that makes UNLV's offense so potent that Memphis can't keep up.
There you go, Tigers fans, your favorite football analyst, Joe DeLeon. He'll be back next Friday to talk about all the games and a little bit more on Memphis and UNLV. But in the meantime, make sure to follow him on Twitter at Joe DeLeon. Check out the podcast, The Ruffino and Joe Show. They talk about a number of different things and do a great job playing off each other. And then, of course, covering college football and the NFL draft for A to Z Sports NFL. Joe, have a great week. Looking forward to the football season. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Folks, when it comes to anything in the world of firearms, the place to go. That would be Classic Arms with over 700 firearms in stock. Anything you are looking for, anything you need, I'm sure they're probably going to have it for you. Big guns, little guns, new guns, used guns, whatever it is. Go see the folks at Classic Arms. Not only do they sell, but they will also buy. They will also trade. So again, they've got new and used guns, all the top brand names. Any type of gun you can imagine, you'll find it at Classic Arms. They also do free gun inspections, free gun appraisals. You could do it all, and all your supplies as well, from ammunition to safes, cases, any of that stuff. If it deals with firearms, they got you taken care of at Classic Arms. Located at 1740 Germantown Parkway. That's right behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova. You can also find them online and shop 24/7 at classicarmsofmemphis.com.
You're listening to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to download our Hub 901 app for instant access to Sports 56 and all the Flynn broadcasting stations from anywhere. Go to the App Store and get the Hub 901 app today.
It is quite literally the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Now, why is that? Glad you asked. Because Family Leisure wants to see your dog pictures, or whatever pet you have pictures of. Here's the details. With any Family Leisure purchase, you're going to get a dog bandana and a tennis ball. You take a picture of your pooch or any other pet with your newly purchased Family Leisure product, you get a $50 gift card. Come on, how many pictures do you already have of your pets on your phone? Family Leisure is giving you an excuse and a gift card to take one more. Now, what other dog days deals are there at Family Leisure? How about a swimming pool as low as $19.99? How about patio furniture that's up to 50% off? Get this, if you purchase any hot tub in stock, Family Leisure will give you a free theater seating set. Now you know why they're called the dog days of summer at Family Leisure. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family fun and your pets all come together.
Hey, Jason, the main man Marshall, tell us about that Hyundai Getaway Sales event still going strong out there at Gossett Hyundai on the Pike.
Check out the new 2026 Hyundai Sonata SE, $346.74 a month, plus 1.99 for 72 months and 0.99 for 60 months available. Get uptown style and upscale tech in 2026 Hyundai Tucson SEL Plus. $359.99 a month, plus 0% for 60 months and 1.99 for 72 months available. Or the new 2026 Hyundai Santa Fe SC, now only $372.48 a month and 1.9 for 72 months available.
And every Gossett Hyundai comes with America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty and the owner assurance.
Come see me, Jason the Main Man Marshall, where we're charging forward and charging less at Gossett Hyundai. 1956 Covenant Pike, or visit online at HyundaiGossett.com 24/7.
Sonata TH527.393, MSRP 29,650. Tucson TH77500, MSRP 33,890. Santa Fe TH197,320, MSRP 37,390. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved Tennessee dealer. For complete details, offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
John always listens to his truck. So when his brakes start talking, he goes to AutoZone, where a helpful AutoZoner gets him the right parts. If John has time to put them in, he borrows a kit with Loan-A-Tool. And if he doesn't, he gets a free shop referral. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool. Restrictions apply.
Chris Price here from Metro Builders. Everything costs more these days. Groceries, gas, insurance, repairs, everything. But at Metro Builders, we decided it was time for something to finally go the other direction. Introducing the Great Deflation Event from Metro Builders. We went back to our suppliers, renegotiated our pricing across all 4 states we operate in, and now we're passing those savings directly to you. Right now, homeowners can save up to 15% on all roof replacements, with even bigger discounts available on all roof repairs. So if you've been putting off that roof because of the price, now may be the time to get it handled. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced when all it may need is a repair. We'll measure your roof from outer space with free inspections, gutter cleaning with any roof job, and pricing on site during the first visit. Metro Builders Great Deflation Event today. Get your roof inspected, get all options, and see how much you can save. Call us at Metro Builders, 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717, or schedule online at metrobuildersmemphis.com.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. Front Office Sports is reporting that the NCAA fifth-year eligibility fight has reached Division II and Division III levels. So that's good. New lawsuit could grant thousands more college athletes, thousands, an extra year if it succeeds. So it's not just the big boys in Division I. Brad Crawford, who's with CBS Sports, a former guest of ours here on the program when he's with Saturdays Down South, he put his bowl projections together. Again, this is on CBSSports.com. And this one would shake up things a bit if it happened this way. Certainly there are teams in here that make sense. But he has, in order, seeded Miami, Oregon, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Texas Tech, Indiana, Ohio State, LSU, BYU, SMU, and UNLV. So his 4 teams with the byes would be Miami, ACC winner, Oregon, Big Ten winner, Georgia, SEC winner, and then you go down to a 6 seed, Texas Tech, which would be the Big 12 winner. Notre Dame gets in, and then your group of 6 is UNLV, and they could take a big step by knocking off Memphis, but Memphis could take a big step by knocking off them. But you look at the at-larges, Eli, he has SMU getting in from the ACC and BYU getting in from the Big 12. That would leave only 4 more teams, if I'm not mistaken, and you're talking about Texas, Indiana, Ohio State, LSU. That would be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I think most people believe that there's the chance, certainly, that the ACC and the Big 12 combined could get more than just the champions, more than the 2, and get a third, especially if there's a couple undefeateds and they play in the championship game. But that's that whole battle we talked about yesterday on the show with the cannibalism that'll be going on in the SEC, maybe a bunch of 3-loss teams. Where do things stand versus a 2-loss or a 1-loss non-conference champion from the ACC or from the Big 12? But in this scenario, LSU gets in. Texas gets in. So that means no Oklahoma, no Ole Miss, no Alabama. Georgia would be the champs, but you would get Texas and LSU. 3 from the SEC. And from the Big Ten, again, your champion is Oregon. You'd get Indiana. You'd get Ohio State. That means no USC, no Michigan, no Penn State. But those 3, Ohio State, Oregon, and Indiana, are the 3 favorites. That would be more equal, more across the board. But, and especially when you look at last year where the SEC got 5 in. But it is hard to fathom a playoff, 12-team playoff, with only 3 SEC teams in. Will the cannibalism kill them enough where the committee goes, no, I got to put this 1-loss runner-up in the ACC or the Big 12 championship over a 3-loss Oklahoma or a 3-loss Ole Miss? Just using them as an example.
Yeah, I mean, that's the, when with my predictions, I had, the 3rd place team in the SEC having 3 losses. I think if that were to happen, that certainly a 3-loss team would get in. But how many of those 3-loss teams would they be willing to take? Are they willing to take 3 of those 3-loss teams from the SEC? Are they willing to take 2? Are they only willing to take 1? That would become the kind of the $1 million question.
BYU to get in as an at-large would certainly mean they lost to Texas Tech in the championship game. That means, I'm looking at their schedule, where would the other loss be? I'm presuming it would be Notre Dame. They play Notre Dame at home. So what would be their best win? I mean, they play Utah Tech, Arizona, at Colorado State, at TCU, Iowa State, Notre Dame, at UCF, Arizona State, at Utah. I would presume that they consider that the best win. Baylor, at Kansas, and Cincinnati. So winning at Utah and winning at TCU, losing, again, I'm presuming losing to Notre Dame, and then losing to BYU in the conference championship game, that resume is going to stack up against even a 3-loss SEC team?
And that's the thing that you have to weigh. And that's what makes Greg Sankey and company mad if they lose out on that battle again.
Yeah,
Who did they have as the top 4 seeds? What did you say?
Miami, Oregon, Georgia, and then Notre Dame. He's got Texas Tech 6th, but they are the Big 12 champions, according to Brad.
Miami is his number 1 overall seed?
Number 1, 13-0. Only undefeated. By the way, Ohio State, 3 losses.
I guess, theoretically, Miami could go. I guess that's possible. And they have who's second?
Oregon.
With what, one loss?
One loss.
That's what I wonder. Depending on who that loss is to, would a one-loss Oregon get the number 1 overall seed over an undefeated Miami?
Right. That would be an interesting question.
But Miami, that would mean a win at Notre Dame for Miami. So that probably, not that there's anything else on their schedule, but a win at Notre Dame. If you've got, and that's, I assume that's Notre Dame's only loss.
Yes.
So that might be enough, but Oregon, that's where you get the one-loss SEC team or the one-loss Big Ten team versus an undefeated Miami to determine, seeding purposes would be interesting.
Yeah, and you were talking yesterday, which obviously makes sense, about not only the amount of losses, but who you lose to. So is there a bad loss in there? And then who do you beat? Ohio State to get in with 3 losses. Again, I'm going to guess that they have them, or Brad has Ohio State losing at Texas, losing at Indiana, and maybe losing to Oregon at home. But they'd have a win at USC. They'd have a win at Iowa. They'd have a win over Michigan at home. Again, not that impressive. Impressive, but not that impressive, unless he has them beating one of those teams like Indiana and having them lose to somebody else. But then that would be probably a bad loss. So it would take them down a notch. I mean, that's the best case scenario if they're going to lose 3. And I know Ohio State has the history and all that, but I don't know. I don't see, there are SEC teams that I see that could get in with 3 losses over Ohio State with 3 losses, just because of who they're able to beat in the rest of their schedule. Makes it tough, though. All right, we'll take a break. Hour 3 on the way. Guess what? 10 in a row's coming up next. We'll start off with the game show that has swept the nation. If you'd like to participate, 901-360-8255. Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines, 901-360-8255. Let's play 10 in a row. We'll do it when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
A long life is wonderful, but it comes with changes as you age. So when you're ready to change your home, Town Village Audubon Park is the perfect choice. Incredible location, amazing amenities, including a pool, all-inclusive dining, and on-site medical care so you can age in place. Monthly rental with no buy-in lets you make current choices. Apartments include full kitchen, washer and dryer, bi-weekly housekeeping, and all basic utilities. Landscape courtyards make it easy to get sunshine and fresh air. Gated parking keeps you ready to go. And the Town Village Dog Park keeps your fur baby close by your side. Hi, I'm Max. My wife Jean and I moved into Town Village Audubon Park 18 months ago. It's the best decision we ever made. We have made friends here and take part in lots of social activities. It's a comfortable life. So if you're thinking of making a change, come see me and Town Village Audubon Park. I think you'll like it as much as we do. And look, new friends.
I've always believed performance comes down to focus. Whether I'm prepping for this show, catching a flight, or getting a workout in, the right audio helps me lock in every time. That's why I like JLab. They make headphones, earbuds, speakers, and more for people who take their experience seriously. Just head to Amazon and use the code HERD2026, HERD2026, for 20% off any JLab product. That's HERD2026 on Amazon for 20% off. Feel alive with JLab.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers. If you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
K4 TE 349,980, MSRP 24,825. Seltos V 501,0936, MSRP 27,130. Sorrento TG 455,570, MSRP 34,280. Telluride VGO 42,843, MSRP 44,420. EV9 TG 007645. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Must finance through KFA. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/26.
I've got Jeff Allen on the line. Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. Let's cut to the chase. What do you got for us?
Hey, Randy, you ready to make memories with your new ride? 2026 Kia K4 LXS, $229 a month, $34.99 due at signing. 2027 Kia Seltos LX, $258 a month, $37.99 due at signing. 2026 Kia Sorrento LX, $327 a month, and a 2027 Kia Telluride S, $449 a month, 24-month lease, $39.99 due at signing. And the all-new 2026 EV9 Land all-wheel drive, $12,000 off MSRP, or get 0% for 60 months.
All equipped with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
This traffic brought to you by Old Dominick Distillery. Come for the spirits, stay for the experience. Cheers to Memphis. Learn more at olddominick.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning, T-Dot's trying to wrap up a couple of accidents out here. It remains busy in a couple of spots, especially 240 as you get on that flyover onto Sam Cooper. Coming inbound, Sam Cooper, a little bit heavy at times there around Perkins. That normal buildup on the I-40 bridge right now, especially the eastbound lanes coming over from Crittenden County, West Memphis. Be sure to check out all the animals that are available for adoption this weekend at the Humane Society of Memphis, Shelby County. Go to their website right now. They're on there at memphishumane.org. I'm Commander Chuck. You're on time traffic.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios, we are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Good morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:05 the time. Final hour for us this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Jay Ham with you on this Friday, August 21st, 2026. We're live and local, broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, they got their Dog Days of Summer sale. It's going on right now. Check them out at 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. As you get your Friday underway, 83 degrees currently, but it feels like 91. We're talking about 96 for a high temp with plenty of sunshine, so that heat index will be in triple digits once again. We got a lot to get to in hour number 3. At 9:30, we're going to talk with Ed Graney. He's the columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and we'll get his take on Dan Mullen and on Jackson Arnold and UNLV as the Memphis Tigers will make their way to Vegas a week from tomorrow. But right now, it's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
Yes, the game show that has swept the nation. It is 10 in a row. If you'd like to participate, jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now. Don't get shut out. 901-360-8255. 10 in a row, brought to you by Napa Cafe.
That's right. Napa Cafe over at 5101 at Sanderland. They're open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. 28 years they've been serving up great food. You go to napacafe.com. You can check out that menu. Just looking at that menu right now, from the appetizers like the crab fritter or the blackened shrimp dumplings, or maybe the ahi tuna nachos, to their entrees, seafood options like salmon or the halibut or the yellowfin tuna, maybe a filet, maybe some chicken, maybe the pork chop or the lamb loin or the short ribs. So many different things, delicious stuff that you can find at Napa Cafe. Great atmosphere with the various dining rooms, 5 different dining rooms, including their private wine cellar, which is great for celebrating a special occasion. Go see them. Go check them out again at napacafe.com. You can check out that menu. You can also make your reservations right there on the website as well for Napa Cafe. Again, dinner, open for dinner Wednesday through Saturday, starting at 5 o'clock. The winner of 10 in a row today will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, along with a $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings and Grill, golf for 4 at Miramichi, and a couple of Malco movie passes.
Okay, I'm not going to mince words here. This is a tough one. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. I will give you the nickname. Now, take into account, there are 365 Division I college basketball teams. This isn't college football with 136. There's 365. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. 901-360-8255.
All right. First up is Steven. Hello, Steven.
Hey, Steven.
Good morning. How are you?
Good.
Doing great. Okay, again, NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. Celtics.
No.
Cavaliers.
No.
360-8255. 901-360-8255. Not easy. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. Great prize package, including golf for 4 at Miramichi. Who's next?
Next up is Zach. Hello, Zach.
What's up, Zach?
Jack. Hello, Jack.
Sounds better.
Hey,
sounds
guys.
better. Jack sounds better. So welcome to the show, Jack. All right, here we go. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. The Rockets.
Yes.
The Hawks.
Yes.
The Thunder.
No.
The Clippers.
No.
The Grizzlies.
Yes.
The Suns.
No.
The Knicks.
No.
The Hornets.
Yes.
The Lakers.
No.
360-8255 is the number. He was very close to running the table. Next
up is Mario. Hey, Mario.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not a whole lot. Tough question. Boy, our last caller, though, I thought he had it. We go back to list one. Celtics.
No.
Cavaliers.
Yes.
Warriors.
Yes.
Mavericks.
Yes.
Heat.
No.
Bulls.
Yes.
Trailblazers.
No.
901-360-8255 is the number. That was one that surprised me. 901-360-8255. Who's next?
Jeremy is next. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, Jeremy.
Hey, how y'all doing, guys?
Doing good. All right. Rockets.
Yes.
Hawks.
Yes.
Thunder.
No.
Clippers.
No.
Grizzlies.
No.
360-8255 is the number. NBA teams that have the same nickname as a Division I college hoop team. There's 365 Division I college hoop teams.
Next up is Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Hey there. Hey there.
Celtics.
No.
Cavaliers.
No.
360-8255. Who's next?
The University of Virginia's on the phone.
Don't give it away.
Vince, what's up?
Hey, Vince.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning. Doing great. All right, we go to list two. Rockets.
Yes.
Hawks.
Yes.
Thunder.
No.
Clippers.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number.
Next up is Carl. Hello, Carl.
Hey, Carl.
Let's try it. Let's try it.
Celtics.
No.
Cavaliers.
Yes.
Warriors.
Yes.
Mavericks.
Yes.
Heat.
No.
Bulls.
Yes.
Trailblazers.
Yes.
Magic.
No.
76ers.
No.
Nets.
No.
Winner. Great job, Carl.
Congratulations, Carl. You are a winner. Hold on, and Jay will let you know how to get your prizes. What's the song that starts with the deep voice going, let's do it?
Oh, Tone Loc, Funky Cole Medina.
Oh, That's right.
Jay Ham could sing that
that's
too.
That's what Carl said when he came in. Let's try it. I was like, that's all I could think of. I was like, what is that song? Like, I want to hear Carl go, let's do it. I mean, it was like all I could think of. Like that. I was like, what the hell song is that?
I love those voices. Jay Ham's got the deep voice. Barry White had maybe the deepest, but tone low. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Let's try it. I was like,
Funky Cole Medina. I remember that from the 80s. Congratulations to Carl. And we got all the way down to basically the last one we didn't say, because the Lakers, and you'll be surprised, but it's a yes, as we had our one caller who just missed. And then the only one we didn't get to was the Jazz. What would you say? The Jazz.
I would say no.
That's correct. Okay, so
who are the Lakers? Who's the college?
Yeah, the Lakers are Mercyhurst. Mercyhurst. They're a Division I basketball team. They used to be Division II. They are the Lakers.
They've been in the NCAA tournament, I believe, haven't they?
I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Celtics, no. And obviously I looked at all. I mean, there's some with multiple nicknames, so I might have didn't write down all the ones that were yeses with the multiples. But Celtics, no. Cavaliers. Virginia, as you mentioned.
I'm sure there's many Cavaliers, but I know Virginia.
Yeah, but that's one. I didn't even need to go any farther in looking this up. The Virginia Cavaliers. I mean, that's a big time power conference school. The Warriors. Merrimack. Did you know that?
I did not know Merrimack was the Warriors, but I assumed there would be Warriors. I'm sure there's a lot of other Warriors too, probably.
Mavericks was a yes. Of course, the Dallas Mavericks. Omaha, Peyton Manning's favorite school, and UT Arlington. The Miami Heat, no. You have no grade point average. The Bulls, of course, in the American Conference. You don't have to look any farther than South Florida. The Trailblazers, that's one that shocked me. Utah Tech. Division I basketball, the Trailblazers. Magic, no. 76ers, probably the easiest one on here. No. The Nets, no. Rockets, yes. Of course, we have Toledo. The Hawks, there's several, including St. Joe's, Monmouth, Maryland Eastern Shore. The Thunder, no. The Clippers, no. The Grizzlies, tell everybody where the Division I basketball team is.
Well, there's Montana.
There's Montana.
I think there's a
there may be another, yeah, but Montana.
Oakland is the Golden Grizzlies.
They're the Golden Grizzlies, and I didn't go that way because it doesn't say Grizzlies, but Montana. Suns, no. Knicks, no. Hornets, bunch of them, including Alabama State, Tony Madlock's old school, Sacramento State, Delaware State, school that I actually covered. Mentioned Mercyhurst for the Lakers, and the Jazz, no. There you go. That's 10 in a row. It's brought to you each and every week by the great folks at Napa Cafe. Friday next week, I'm sure Eli will have 10 in a row. I'll be off and rolling with the team. I think we're leaving early to go to Vegas for the Tigers UNLV game.
So BetOnline came out with some player kind of prop odds for this year in college football. And this one, Trinidad Chambliss, his over-under on yards is 2,899.5.
Passing yards or total yards?
Passing yards. Which, okay, that's, I don't, his passing touchdown number is only 19.5. Like, I feel like I would be shocked. Unless he gets hurt, obviously.
Sure.
If Trinidad Chambliss plays 12 games of the regular season, I would be blown away if he doesn't throw for 20 touchdowns.
Right.
That looks like the easiest bet. I'm like, I don't even understand this. Now, granted, if you make it, then he gets hurt in game one, you're like, well, that sucks. But I'm telling you, if Trinidad Chambliss plays in 12 games, he is soaring past 19.5 passing touchdowns.
So I completely agree with you. But I've said it before, I do not play futures. I just don't do it. I want the action of what I'm watching like that day. And I can't wait. And then also, like you said, with football and injuries, all of a sudden he's up there at 17, 18. He's got 4 more games to go, and God forbid he gets hurt. So,
I mean, Charlotte and Wofford might be a combined 8 between the two of them.
Or
he play the full game.
Or he'll be out of the game early. But I mean, by that time he'll throw 3 or 4 touchdowns, I would think.
I mean, I know Kewan Lacey's good. They're gonna run the ball and he'll get some time. But I would be stunned if he doesn't get 20 touchdowns passing. I really would. I thought I would have guessed that number would, I think Arches is like 25.5 or something like that. I would have thought that's where Chambliss would be. I would think Chambliss would be in the 25 range.
Yeah, that's a little surprising. No, look, if you like those types of bets, the future bets, the stats with the individual players,
I think Arch Manning
that's a good
25.5. I would take.
I don't know if I'd take that one
with Cam Coleman.
Yeah, but
Coleman will catch 12.
Arch will run it in though. I wonder what his over under is for rushing touchdowns, because Arch will rush him. He'll run him in, and with Trinidad Chambliss, who's certainly capable of scrambling and running in, or a set bootleg or something like that. But when you got Lacey, like you said, you just hand it off to Lacey. You're at the goal line. You're handing the ball off to Lacey. Why even attempt to throw a pass there? But I think he'll go over that number. But I get scared with futures. And plus the action is just, you got to wait for months. Not a big fan of that.
In the least surprising announcement ever, College Game Day has announced that they will be at the LSU Ole Miss game.
Get out of town.
Who would have thunk it that that's where they would show up in week 3? But yes, indeed, it is now official. They are coming to Oxford once again for LSU and Ole Miss.
By the way, speaking of game day, we know the crew, which includes McAfee.
So that means LSU will be 2 of the first 3 game days, because week 1 they're in Baton Rouge. Week 3,
oh wow,
they are in Oxford. They make the visit to Texas for Texas, Ohio State in between.
Was it Clemson? Who did they play week 1?
Yes.
Clemson. But game day, McAfee. Yesterday, we didn't have time to talk about it, but wasn't it announced yesterday that McAfee's going to be a part of NFL Countdown 2? It
was announced 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
That's why I made the joke yesterday.
The Monday night countdown.
The Monday night countdown.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did make the joke. I forgot about that. But I was just looking at that going, and I talk a lot about fatigue, voter fatigue, maybe with Shohei, even though PCA might just deserve to win it this year. But who knows if Shohei goes back on the hill and starts doing some things with the pitching to go along with the hitting. And then voters are like, yeah, I'm just tired of giving it the award. I think LeBron, a lot of times he could have won the MVP. It's like, I got LeBron fatigue. Well, there's a chance you can get Pat McAfee fatigue.
I think some already have it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like him. I personally love McAfee because I love the guests they get. I'm not enamored with all the shenanigans and the things they do. It's just like dudes drinking beers, watching games. That's fine. I have no problem with it. But I watch McAfee because he gets all the guests. Scotty Scheffler was on. Scheffler doesn't do anybody. Like, he never does interviews. You never see it except for the ones he has to do at the PGA Tour stop. So the guests are really, really phenomenal. Plus, I like the fact, and I think a lot of people should like him for this reason. And you don't have to like the guy, his personality or whatever. That's your prerogative. But he brings on guests from LPGA, from WNBA, from tennis, from all the different sports. And we have been doing this for 21 years. And look, it's not like we're giving you tennis updates every day. And we know what's important. But there are times when, like last week was the golf tournament. And right, we got a golf segment. We do baseball, not everybody's enamored with baseball, but we try to do that because we want to cover everything. I mean, there are some media personalities that just stick to the one sport or maybe 2 sports. And that's fine too. That's their way of doing things. We like to cover everything. And what I like is that he has guests from and the commissioners all come on with him. I mean, he's basically become that guy. Stephen A. Smith and him at that network. And again, with most things, people see what he's making. and they don't like it, so then they don't like him. But I'm just looking at the pure entertainment and the guests that he gets, and I like that. But I can see myself, because it has happened before, of just getting tired. I'm like, all right, I don't want to see him everywhere. I don't need to see him on the sidelines of every big college football game. I don't need to see him now with the NFL stuff.
I got to a point years ago where I had Stephen A. fatigue. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. You can overexpose. Yeah. You understand where ESPN's coming from, or any network, man. They got something hot. They're going to roll with it, but they always overdo it. Just like always seems to happen. All right. You have sports memorabilia and it's sitting at your house. You have a beautiful signed jersey or a signed baseball. Maybe you got some memorabilia from last week at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. You got one of those flags in the souvenir shop, in the PGA shop, and you brought it out there and got all those autographs. And it looks fantastic, but it's just sitting there on the table. So what do you do with it? You bring it over to the Frame Corner. You have them frame those pieces of memorabilia, those sports memorabilia, those footballs, those jerseys. A beautiful museum quality frame, glass, or mat. Hang it up on the wall. Put it on the coffee table, enclosed in that case. It just looks absolutely beautiful. And Frame Corner has been doing expert framing for more than 50 years. So they know what's going on, and they can help you. You go in there, have a question for them, they'll steer you in the right direction. They definitely have experience with all of that for 50 years. Finest custom framing. Protect and preserve your memories, your art, your keepsakes. Make framing dreams come true. But it's not just the sports memorabilia, wedding invitations, photos, vacation memories and keepsakes, anniversaries and birthday celebrations, family and friends portraits. It just looks better. It's classy. And they know what they're doing at Frame Corner. Museum quality frames, glass, and mats. You can visit them at 5035 Park Avenue. You can call them at 901-682-9901, or you can go online to info@framecornermemphis.com. See Mark and the gang at Frame Corner. Expert framing for more than 50 years. Coming up next, we'll get the UNLV perspective of the game against the Memphis Tigers a week from tomorrow. Ed Graney, columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal, will join us next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Not only can you listen to your favorite shows on Sports 56, you can also watch video of the shows live on Twitter and YouTube. Watch and listen every day at Sports 56 WHBQ.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right and naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys, Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Incorporated, Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. I wanted to take a minute and discuss advertising with you. There are so many websites that list the best service provider in your area. Even the BBB has an accredited list. You know the one thing they all have in common? A company like mine has to pay to get on that list. So that begs the question, can those lists be trusted? You know what can be trusted? History. We've been around for almost 30 years providing customers with the best service and the best products that we possibly can. So if you need a roof, siding, or gutters, give us a call. We'll come talk to you and let you decide for yourself whether or not we know what we're talking about. Fiveash Roof Services. Best products, best warranties, and in many cases, the best price. We're fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
With Kohl's Back to School sale, kids get styles that say, I'm so back. And you get savings that say, I'm so good at this. Save up to 40% on school essentials. Plus, shop in-store this weekend for your chance to get up to $100 instant Kohl's cash. Back to school confidence runs in the family. Select styles. Some exclusions apply. Coupons and Kohl's cash do not apply to Sephora at Kohl's. Offers end August 23rd. See store or Kohls.com for details.
The wait is finally over. Get ready for the grand opening of the newly remodeled Landers Cadillac of Memphis. You can shop grand opening savings at Landers Cadillac of Memphis, and you'll find there's a special deal on all the remaining new 2024 Escalades. You can get $20,000 in total savings. And they're paying top dollar for trades at Landers Cadillac. See how much you can save with the Landers Easy Pass at CadillacofMemphis.com. And remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings.
Morning.
On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 9:28 the time. Our final 30 minutes and change before we call it a weekend and get set for what will hopefully be a fun weekend, but really the precursor to what's going to happen starting next weekend with college football. NFL preseason continues, but before too long, it'll be the start of the regular season. So Pigskin is here. I know we're all excited about it. I'm happy to and excited, of course, anytime I can get out to Vegas, and that'll be next weekend for the Tigers and UNLV. And we are very pleased to be joined by somebody who knows all about UNLV and really knows all about Las Vegas sports, and that's Ed Graney. He's the columnist for the Las Vegas Review-Journal. You can follow him on Twitter at Ed Graney. He joins us now on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Man, we're doing great. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
20 years you've been there at that newspaper, and I'll tell you what, how has sports grown over the last 2 decades in Vegas with still much more to come here? You got to be so excited about being able to cover so many different things and more in the future.
Yeah, you know, when we got here, it's funny. When we got here, the pro team in town was UNLV basketball, and that was the pro team in town, and that's who we covered mostly. So if you would have told me, 20 years down the road, 1, I'd be here, and then 2, what we'd have, it'd be absolutely amazing. The Golden Knights were kind of the guinea pig into the town to see how sports would work, pro sports would work. They go to the Cup final the first year. It goes crazy. Their fan base is still an amazing fan base for that team. And then it just started one after the other. The Raiders, the WNBA here, they're building the A's ballpark. I think the NBA is coming. So it's an amazing thing that's what happened in the town and how professional's gone. And now UNLV football has turned it around to where they're a very good program now. They weren't for a very long time since I've been here, but the last 3 years they've been absolutely terrific.
Yeah, and I was going to with all of the pro sports now, where does UNLV kind of rank in town as far as people paying attention to them?
Well, you win and they'll pay attention, and they've had 30 wins in the last 3 years, so people are paying attention to them, their football program. It's funny, for so long with the Tarkanian years and all the years that they won in basketball, the Lon Kruger years, basketball obviously took precedent over them because they just couldn't win in football for a very, very, very long time. But that's kind of switched now, and basketball hasn't been in the NCAA tournament since 2013. That's a long drought for them. They've got a new coach, Josh Pastner, who came in last year. He's hoping to turn that around. But until then, football has kind of taken precedent here if you talk about the 2 main sports at that school. Barry Odom came in 3 years ago and turned this thing around and left after 2 years to Purdue, and now Dan Mullen is here, and they won 10 games last year, so he's keeping it going forward. So, football now has got a lot of interest in town.
So many connections from a sports standpoint, at least collegiate sports standpoint, to Memphis with Barry Odom, as you mentioned, former defensive coordinator at Memphis. Our good friend Josh Pastner, former Tigers head basketball coach, now the coach at UNLV. They came in last year, as you probably know, and beat Memphis. And Memphis, we'll see what happens long-term as far as playing UNLV while Pastner's there. But it's interesting, Ed, because if things fell the right way, Memphis and UNLV could have both been playing in the Pac-12. Memphis had an opportunity, said no. UNLV had an opportunity and stayed in the Mountain West. Why did they stay in the Mountain West?
Well, one, I think money. They were given a certain amount of money to stay in there. Now, the money, as we've known, if you've kept track the last few weeks, the money the Mountain West got back from the Pac-12 and the poaching fees and whatnot was not as much as they had first planned. It was almost half of what that they had sued for. But UNLV will still get a chunk of that. I think that had a lot to do with it, of the financial implications of staying in. I think they will be one of the standard bearers of this new look Mountain West. And I just think that they felt at this time it was the better decision for their athletic department as a whole to stay. We'll see if that works out now. It's a new look Mountain West. They brought in some football teams. They brought in teams that are non-football teams, and we're going to have to see how it works out this year in football-wise. But, yeah, I just think financially they thought it was a better deal for them to stay. They're a program that, like many programs, needs an influx of cash, to cover all their bases. So I think that had a lot to do with it. But, we'll have to see. Like I said, it's a new look Mountain West. Themselves and New Mexico are considered the top two teams in the league this year. We're going to have to see how that works out. But for them, I think they just thought it was their best decision to stay and not move to the Pac-12. And I'll say yet, because we don't know you never know day to day what's going to happen around here in terms of, what's going to happen with conferences.
You mentioned with Barry Odom, who had been a former Power Conference coach. They go get Dan Mullen, a former Power Conference coach. Obviously, there is a commitment there. Where are they on rev share, NIL? Like, how much money are they putting into this football program?
They don't release a lot of their numbers NIL wise, but I know that their NIL has improved, since that came about. They're improving it every year. I think Josh would like more for basketball. But again, go back to your original question about the support for these programs. In my mind, it's kind of switched, and most of the support's now going into football. In terms of the rev share, are they going to be power forward? No, but they do have new people in there handling their NLI situation, handling their rev share. They've got new edicts out there in terms of people can join certain levels of rev share and how much they can give to the department. They're trying a lot of that in terms of bringing more people. And you look, it's a town with a lot of people with a lot of money. Casino people, other people in terms of sports around here. So they're trying to delve into them and really try to sell this football program as one that, can be in a Power 4 one day. But to do that, the rev share has to go up. The NIL has to go up. You have to be able to get players to do that and win and continue to win. So I think they're trying to do that. They're not there yet, but I do think their NIL is improving each year, and they've got the right people in charge to try to, make it to where, I think Dan Mullen's a great choice on the football side as a coach, but they've got to get the money on the money side to get the players to win to maybe one day be in a Power 4.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments. I just thought it was a fantastic home run when they hired him, of course, the former Florida and Mississippi State head coach. Ed Grady joining us, sports columnist, Las Vegas Review-Journal. We appreciate him getting up early with us here on the program. So before we talk about this UNLV team and what Memphis can expect a week from tomorrow, Ed, kind of paint the picture of what it was like covering the Rebels at Sam Boyd, maybe even 15, 20 years ago, to what it's like now having their home at Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Raiders.
Wow, talk about a difference. And they just didn't win. So you took a stadium way out of town. You tried to build some kind of home student base. It was very difficult, in my opinion, to do that. Sam Boyd Stadium was, kind of this decrepit place. It had been around a long time. They needed a new venue. You asked students to drive a long way. I went to San Diego State, and Qualcomm Stadium was 2 exits down from San Diego State, and it was hard to get students to drive the 2 exits. Wow. Never mind 25, 30 minutes out of town. So they needed a new place, and when Allegiant Stadium came about, I was at those meetings, in the state capitol, and that was a big realm to get that money. It's like, look, UNLV will also prosper from this. And I think a lot of the legislators up there wanted that to happen. Not only the Raiders, but they wanted UNLV to prosper from it as much. It's a big stadium. They're trying to do more and more season tickets each year. Winning helps. I think the opener you'll see a good crowd for them. I think games like North Dakota State, I don't know who will have more fans in the building than other maybe Randall fans or North Dakota State fans, but there will be games this year where they have like the Boise State crowds of 35, maybe 40,000 to get in there. So UNLV and Allegiant Stadium has become a great recruiting tool when you bring kids in there and say you're playing in an NFL stadium. That's been a great tool. So yeah, I think that's been all positive for them to move into Allegiant, be closer to the university, and play in an NFL stadium.
So they've got a quarterback battle going on, like Memphis does. Nobody announced yet. Is the expectation that it will be Jackson Arnold?
I think that's every expectation, but I think he and Alex Orji will both play against Memphis. I think they'll both play against Memphis, and then, we're going to see how much each plays. I think Jackson Arnold, the Auburn transfer coming in, I think that's a lot of expectations. Alex had a tremendously bad injury last year against UCLA, bad leg injury. He has been partaking in fall camp. Looks like he's moving around a lot better, but it was a bad injury. So Jackson Arnold comes in, very highly recruited kid out of college, went to high school out of Denton there, who went to Oklahoma first and then Auburn. Very highly regarded. So I think the expectation is eventually he'll be the guy, but I will not be surprised. In fact, I'm pretty much sure that they will both play against Memphis.
But with the running game as effective as it has been under Mullen, with Jaden Thomas, who I know many believe could be the Mountain West Player of the Year, do you expect this to be more ground and pound, especially if that offensive line can move that Tigers defensive front off the ball?
I think with Jaden, that says a lot in terms of what you just said, at least to start, to take pressure off whoever the quarterback is. Jaden's 8th all-time in rushing at UNLV. Really, really good player, really, really good back. Will have more of a every down sense than he did last year. They were really deep at running back last year. They returned Jalen Glover, his backup. He's a really good player. So I think, though, Jaden will be more of an every down back this year than maybe he was even last year, and he had a great year last year, over 1,000 yards rushing. But I do think you make a good point. No matter who the quarterback is, because he'll be new, I do think they'll at least try to run more early to take the pressure off him. The offensive coordinator is Corey Dennis, who is Urban Meyer's son-in-law. He does a really good job. He does a really good job mixing and matching. They had a kid last year, I'm sure you know, Anthony Calandri at quarterback. He's down in Nebraska, and Anthony became the Mountain West Offensive Player of the Year. I don't know if they have one of them this year, but I do think they'll still have a pretty explosive offense. They have a bunch of receivers who are unproven. They're talented, but they're unproven. They haven't done much. So we'll have to see how they go. And, knowing that, I think that goes back to your question that they'll try to run a little bit more, maybe to see how that passing game works early on.
Looking at the defense, looks like there's a decent amount of power conference transfer guys. How good is this defense?
Well, it's got to be a lot better than it was last year. And I think it will be. They really didn't communicate well last year. They had a lot of blown coverages. They got better as the year went on. Ironically, their best game was in the Frisco Bowl against Ohio, which they lost 17-10. Their offense didn't show up for the first time all year, and their defense did. They're in the second year under a coordinator named Paul Gunther. Paul was an NFL lifer. Cincinnati Bengals, the Raiders, he was defensive coordinator of those teams. So he got thrown into the mix last year when they lost their defensive coordinator in spring ball, and he got thrown in the mix to be the coordinator. And he kind of brought a pro-style scheme. It took time for those guys to pick it up. It took time for Paul to really get used to coaching college players in that realm and dealing with how college players deal with themselves more than pros on a daily basis. I think they'll be a lot better this year because it's the second year in the scheme. I think they get what Paul does and how Paul coaches now. So they will be better, and they have to be better. They averaged, 33, 34 points last year, and 5 of their 6 wins were by 7 points or less, and that's mostly because defensively they couldn't hold up. Those 5 of 6, when you win 5 of 6 by 7 or fewer, a lot of those can go the other way. So I think they'll be better this year. They do have power forward transfers, and I think they'll be better defensively, and they need to be.
Do you think Dan's itching to get back in a power conference school, or do you think being out in Vegas, and look, that's a cool city, that he's enjoying life right now? I'm sure you get a chance to talk to him, but I'm not sure if you've broached that subject.
Yeah, we've broached it as a group of media with him. Last year, he said consistently, "I will be there next year," and he kind of left it at that. And now he's here this year. Look, he's really happy here. His family's happy here. He's got a son and a daughter. His son plays at one of the best basketball schools in the county in Bishop Gorman.
Oh yeah,
And I think he's a college prospect. He's got a daughter who's happy here. His wife's very happy here. Dan loves golf. There's great golf here. And I think it's, I talked to his wife for a story of him last year. He's got a lot of friends here and true friends, people who he considers true friends of his that got him out here. So I think he's really happy here. But look, at the end of the day, the Power Four comes. We saw with Barry, who, went for $6 million a year to Purdue. Sometimes that's just really hard to when you have a family. No matter how much money you've made, that's hard to turn down. So if they have another 10-win season, I suspect Dan will get a lot of interest, and then we'll just have to see how much he truly loves Vegas. And I think he truly loves Vegas. He always talks about the shows they're able to go to,
right?
The restaurants they're able to go to, the golf he's able to play. And now he's got a 10-win football season from last year. So, but money talks in a lot of ways, and I would just be very interested to see what Dan would be offered on the open market if they have another great season.
Last thing for you, Ed, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders. We were talking about him earlier. Obviously, they played last night, threw a bad pick. But do you believe, especially with the influence of Tom Brady, even though Kubiak said it's still going to be a battle for the starting job going into this next week, that Cousins starts the season and then before too long, Mendoza takes over?
I think that's exactly what happens. I think they brought Kirk in to be the starter, to mentor him. Kirk's, done that in the past, not as much as knowing he's going to probably give it up at some point. This is the first overall pick he's going to play. But I think you hit it on the head. I think Kirk starts and Fernando eventually gets in there. And, Fernando's a joy to cover. As you guys probably know, seen him in interviews. But I think eventually he'll have to be the guy as the number one overall pick. When that happens, who knows? I mean, how they're going to be, who knows? Genty's second year, Bowers, they've got tools. I don't know how good they're going to be defensively, but I do think you're right. I think Kirk starts. I think that's why they brought him in here and paid him what they did. And then I think Fernando eventually this year takes over.
Fun times in Vegas for a sports columnist, and Ed Graney's been doing it for 20 years as the Las Vegas Review-Journal sports columnist. Very nice of you, Ed, to get up early to talk a little bit about the Rebels. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Listen, we've got a Las Vegas Little League team that started their game at 6 a.m. this morning, so it's okay.
Thank you, Ed. Take care.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Folks, whether you're buying or selling a home, you always want to make sure you have a great realtor helping you navigate the market, finding the perfect home, or finding those perfect buyers for your home. Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Bear Realty will take care of you. Give him a call at 901-319-0747. If you're looking to buy, he will make sure you find that perfect home, get it at a great price, make sure everything goes smoothly. If you're looking to sell your home, well, if you want to get rid of it quickly, he'll buy it as is for cash. But if you're looking to get top dollar, it's not going to be just stick a sign in the yard and hope good things happen. Make sure you get that exposure, find those buyers, get you that top dollar that you're looking for your home. So whether you're buying or selling, talk to Bubba, 901-319-0747. Bubba Sandifer at Emmett Baird Realty.
One segment to go. If there's something that you want to get off your chest, hit us up, 901-360-8255. You can call in or text in on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
NST's been taking down insurance giants for over 35 years. Big firm power with hometown heart? Yeah, they don't play. It's that combination that has helped them win billions for their clients. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgos. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous?
Brett, after 76 years, we've decided to expand our product line. Anyone who's tasted our ribs is familiar with our vinegar base. It's now available in a 32-ounce jar. It's so good to baste or marinate all meats. I even put a little bit on turnip greens. Something we've been using at the restaurant or at our house has been the Greek seasoning. My father was a cook, but my mother was a chef, and she was the one that put Greek seasoning on everything from a Mediterranean diet or a steak. My mom used it on soup, salad, veggies, fish, any meats. It's a great seasoning and a flavor enhancer. My brother Nick figured out salt and pepper was more than just McCormick's and Morton's. He's come up with a perfect blend we use to coat our shoulders and our brisket, and he used to make it for his friends as Christmas gifts, and they loved it. All these products are available at the Rendezvous or online for shipping as gifts and in many grocery stores. And if they're not in your favorite grocery store, ask your grocer to stock it.
A beloved family affair and still going strong since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Life is too short for boring cars. So it's time to run, not walk, to Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2026 Kia K4 LXS, $229 a month, $34.99 to its signing. 2027 Kia Seltos LX, $258 a month, $37.99 to its signing. 2026 Kia Sorento LX, $327 a month. And 2027 Kia Telluride S, only $449 a month. 24-month lease, $39.99 to its signing. And the all-new 2026 EV9 Land, $12,000 off MSRP or get 0% for 60 months. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Come see Bobby J and get your new Kia today. Gossett Kia 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
K4T 349,980, MSRP 24,825. Seltos V 5010936, MSRP 27,130. Sorrento TG 455,570, MSRP 34,280. Telluride VGO 42,843, MSRP 44,420. EV9 TG 007645 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Must finance through KFA. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. Dealer stock only. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/26.
Yes, it's that time again, and after all, you bought or sold a house 25 years ago, and everything should be the same. Wrong. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and just like artificial intelligence, AI, it's changing the landscape. Buying and selling a home today is worlds apart from when you last did it, whether it was 25 years ago, 40 years ago, or 2 years ago. Just like getting through a jungle, you need a trusted guide who has a highly successful strategic marketing program when you're selling, and who also knows the trails and pitfalls when you're buying. You may have heard of me due to the fact that I not only am the worst golfer in town, but people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. Whether you're thinking of selling or buying or merely want a conversation about what to do or not to do, you can always reach me, Shell Dunn Rosengarten, at 483-0546 or email me at memphisrelocate.com. That's memphisrelocate.com or call me at 483-0546.
Now back to Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning. On Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Round 2 of the BMW Championship underway, the second of the 3 FedEx Cup playoff events at a Belle Reve Country Club in St. Louis. Michael Thorbjornsen, 2 under through 3, and now is tied for the lead with Hisatsune, with Rory McIlroy, who is at 6 under. J.J. Spawn at 6 under. They both shot 64s yesterday, as did Chris Gotterup, Gary Woodland, and Wyndham Clark. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 at the top.
I love when Rory just hit his tee shot at 1, and I love when they show the overhead and they point out a bunker and they put that it's 294 yards to clear that bunker. Rory doesn't even see that bunker. Like that bunker, like literally is not in play for Rory McIlroy whatsoever. You don't have to point out a bunker at 294 for him. I guarantee he doesn't even acknowledge that bunker exists.
Now, do you know how sick that sounds to just the average Joe golfer? Now, you hit the ball pretty darn well off the tee. But for 90% of us out there to just hear something like that and go, 294, doesn't even think about that bunker because he's going 310, 320, 330. And you watch these guys and you go, how do they still have a spine?
The bunker would not exist. I wouldn't worry about that bunker either because I know I would be short of it.
Well, yeah.
He's a little different.
You'd be short of it, but you wouldn't be that far short of it. You know, when you're talking about just these distances are just unfathomable. I mean, and I'm not just talking about because I'm 65 years old golfer, but even like young going, how do you, man, oh man, the contortionist you have to be with the back and the spine and the hips and everything all in one. It's just absolutely amazing. But as I said, round 2 underway, the BMW, you got a bunch of guys now that are 5 and that are 4. So it seems to be fairly, I don't want to say easy, but fairly easy conditions for these guys to start off round number 2. Scotty Scheffler will go at 11:07 today. Again, he shot 2 over yesterday, a 72. It is a par 70 course.
Well, you could look there. It looks like there is literally not a hint of a breeze, and it is a soft golf course. So these guys will do some damage.
Go eat it up.
This is Andrew Brandt tweets. This is what a world we live in. Former NFL executive. He says, "I'm now hearing that there's a few players going to their NFL teams and asking to be cut now instead of likely being cut in 2 weeks so they can go play college again.
It's sick.
Hey, can I meet with you, Mr. GM? Yeah, I would appreciate if you would cut me today. I'm trying to get out of here. I just found out I could go back to college, and so I want to do that instead. I've made that career decision.
Okay, what do you do if, like, say, we could put you on the practice squad? What does the practice squad pay compared to what you can make if you're a big-time college player?
NIL wins largely.
I think
if you're a name and can really help a team out, but I don't know how many of them are huge names. Now, with Ole Miss, we talked about yesterday, 3 starters that were involved in that last class action suit.
It's like my guy Mo Schefter said yesterday. These dudes they spent weeks working out, going up head to head against Tristan Wirth. Now you're going back to college. It's not fair, man.
Well, look, I don't blame the athletes at all. This is the system. It's screwed up until they can figure this thing out, whether it be the act that, the Protect College Sports Act. They're taking advantage, and I mean really taking advantage of the system. And then we have the stories about, remember, I had the Lenore Seller story. There was the other story yesterday. Who was it?
Last year, practice squad guys made around $13,000 a week.
Yeah. So if you're going to get paid pretty handsomely, which some of these guys may, there's no guarantees, then it makes sense to go back to college and try it all again next year for the NFL.
Which is not a bad gig. $13,000 a week, not a bad gig.
No, it's not a bad, but it doesn't add up to the count of money that some of these dudes are making. But again, you don't have Trinidad Chambliss isn't waiting right now to go back to college. It's guys that obviously weren't good enough to make the NFL, but were pretty good college players. But there was another dude yesterday who they asked about classes, and he said, what did he say? He said, I don't have any classes, or maybe I have one class and they're going to let me know what it is, but it's going to be an online thing or something. I'm I go back to, isn't there a minimum amount of hours you have to go to school for while you're in said college?
It's not anymore.
Apparently not. NFL tonight, preseason games, Jets, Steelers, Panthers, Jaguars, Packers, Broncos, and then a big slate Saturday. 1 game Sunday, Seahawks and the Titans from Nashville. And if you care, but I said before, and I'll say it again, you are a degenerate if you're betting preseason games. Tennessee -4.5.
The Mariners are calling up Cade Anderson. He is the stud from LSU from a couple of years ago. I think it was 3rd overall pick. Unfortunately, the Cubs get to be the guinea pigs that go against him tomorrow. Cade Anderson in Double-A this year, 10-1, 106 earned run average, 135 strikeouts, 13 walks in 93 innings.
That's Gibby numbers. That's Bob Gibson numbers from that, 68 or whatever that magnificent year was.
47 hits allowed, 135 strikeouts.
Oh, my gosh.
Gave up 11 runs in 93 innings.
He looks like he's 12.
He is. I'm interested to see see the Cubs go against him. Unfortunately, probably know the result, but yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch him pitch. He is the number 1 prospect in baseball.
In 1968, I can't believe I got the year right. The year of the pitcher, Bob Gibson posted a historic 1.12 earned run average, threw 13 shutouts, won 22 games, and earned both the National League Cy Young Award and the National League MVP. He completed 28 of his 34 starts. He struck out 268. That is absolute dominance. Like this guy, but he did it at the big league level against the top hitters in all of baseball. That was a magical year. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. You thinking lunch already? You thinking dinner? Think Corky's. You can dine in at any of their 4 establishments, Poplar Avenue in Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Again, that's their 4 establishments in the Memphis area. They serve up that delicious slow smoke barbecue. They've been catering their entire existence, which is now into the 5th decade, over 40 years. You got some tailgating to do tonight at a high school game. Bring along some Corky's. Any event you got coming up, no matter how large it is, they can take care of it for you. They can cater it. Start you out as low as $7.99 per person. They got lunch specials every day. In fact, I had a lunch special yesterday. Party packs that start at just $7.49. When you get your entree, add a third of a rack of ribs for just $7.99. And they will deliver anywhere in the metropolitan Memphis area. Set fee of $3.99. It's Corky's. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue. Open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. That is going to do it for us today. I want to thank you, folks. I thought it was a fun week, and we appreciate all your calls and texts. We thank all our guests this week as well. We'll do it again next week, starting bright and early Monday morning at 7 a.m. I want to thank Joe DeLeon, John Varlas, and Ed Graney for joining us on the program today. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and for Jay Ham, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody.